Thank you to the Sports Scene team up in Scotland. Quite the story developing north of the border. Hearts 8 points clear at the top of the Scottish Premiership. That's one to keep our eyes on over the coming weeks and months. Welcome to Villa Park on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. Premier League action to keep you company for the next couple of hours. From the West Midlands as Aston Villa and Manchester City walk out of the corner at Villa Park, greeted by the pyrotechnics and the fireworks and the claret and blue smoke billowing way above our heads into a grey sky. It's overcast, it's chilly, but if you're sitting in front of the flamethrowers, in front of the Doug Ellis stand on that far side, you're getting a lovely blast of heat. The two sides make their way towards the halfway line for the pre-match pleasantries to take place, the handshakes and the Premier League anthem and all that sort of thing. Alongside me to enjoy this, former Republic of Ireland striker, a man who enjoyed his time here in Birmingham, albeit maybe not for the team we're about to watch, Clinton Morrison. Clinton, afternoon to you.
Afternoon, Chris. How are you, mate? I'm looking forward to this game. It should be a good one.
It should be a good one, shouldn't it? This has a feel of a good game. You've got two sides in decent Premier League form. Villa looking to bounce back from that shock defeat to go-ahead Eagles. Manchester City, whilst not maybe at their blistering best, look not too far away from it.
Yeah, they do, yeah. And they're so reliant on Haaland. I think Pep would like goals from other players in his team, but they're challenging at the moment, Man City. Everyone at the start of the season, could they be in the mix? And they are in the mix, and they're getting players back. So I'm looking forward to it. And as you said, Villa have been good form. Good result last time out against Tottenham in the Premier League.
3 Premier League wins in a row for Aston Villa, and beaten in their last 5 after a clunky old start. Manchester City could go top of the table this afternoon with a 2-goal win, but they'll need Arsenal to slip up at Crystal Palace at the Emirates. That game over on 5 Live. On Sports Extra 2, Bournemouth against Nottingham Forest. On Sports Extra 3, Wolves against Burnley. All available via the BBC Sounds app. And here on 5 Sports Extra, Villa against Manchester City. The two sides break away from their handshakes on halfway. Kick-off not too far away, so an opportunity to run you through the two lineups. Villa making 6 changes to that side that were beaten 2-1 by go-ahead Eagles in the Europa League. Villa, who took the lead and were in complete control, missed several excellent chances and then rather fell away as the Dutch side recorded a famous win in Eastern Netherlands. Rodgers, McGinn, Camara, Digne, Konsa and Cash all remain from that starting 11. So Jadon Sancho, Evan Gesson, Lamar Bogarty and Martson, Tyrone Mings and Victor Lindelof drop out. Emi Martinez, the goalkeeper, Matty Cash, Ezri Konsa, Pau Torres, Luca Digne, the back 4. Boubacar Kamara and Andre Onana make up the midfield 2. And then John McGinn, Morgan Rogers, Emi Buendia, Ollie Watkins further forward. For Manchester City, 3 changes to the side that beat Villarreal in the Champions League. A much more straightforward evening for them. Oscar Bob gets a place in the team with Jeremy Doku on the bench. Phil Foden, Tijani Reinders also come in. Gonzalez fit enough for the bench, that after he hobbled off in Spain with a foot issue. And Rico Lewis also drops to the bench. Gianluigi Donnarumma is the goalkeeper. Mateus Nunes, Ruben Dias, John Stones and Josko Gvardiol. Tijani Reinders in front of the back 4. Oscar Bob, Phil Foden, Bernardo Silva, Savinho and the prolific Erling Haaland, who could make some Manchester City history today. If he scores, it'll be the 11th successive appearance he's scored for Manchester City, and that would be a new Manchester City record. This fixture is one of the games dedicated to the Premier League's No Room for Racism campaign, so the players and the referee, who is Michael Oliver, all drop to their knees, and we are underway on 5 Sports Extra. Aston Villa against Manchester City, and it is City kicking from left to right as we watch from the Trinity Road stand. That's away from the North stand and towards the Holt end, the cavernous Holt end that disappears way up into the sky to our right-hand side. And Villa, in their claret and blue home kit, defending the Holt end, attacking the North stand, kicking from right to left. City in, Clinton Morrison. I'll let you describe the kit. What are we saying? Grey with lurid green down the sides. Yes. It's an interesting colour kit.
It is interesting, and you know what? It's interesting the way Man City have set up, because it looks when they're in possession, John Stones is going to go and play in midfield alongside Reinders, and it's going to be Núñez, Diaz and Guardiola as a back three. It looks like Bob and Savinho as wing backs because Stones is in the middle of the pitch.
Yes, you're right. We'll keep an eye on that. We do know that Pep Guardiola likes his flexible formations, and John Stones at the moment is indeed operating in that centre midfield position, which we know he has done in the past for both Manchester City and England. It is Manchester City with early possession of the ball. That's a loose pass from Guardiola in the direction of Núñez, and that's an errant pass that goes out of play for a Villa throw on this left-hand side. Guardiola will need to be a little bit more sure than that with his passing. So it allows Luca Digne right in front of us as we watch from a fairly low position, just to the left of the halfway line. Digne is over this throw, orange boots. Noise around Villa Park, very healthy, always is when the big sides roll into town. Digne's throw put out of play by Núñez, and they've just crept 4 or 5 yards further up the touchline, and Digne has a chance with a long throw, Clinton, which is very much in vogue these days, to try and cause some havoc in the penalty area.
It's the new thing, isn't it? It was all right when I was playing, but now this definitely is the new thing. So, and it is working for a lot of teams.
It is. Yeah, it's the new old thing. Digne hurls it into the penalty area, gets good distance on that. Amadou Onana jumps. Buendia volleys with his right foot. Difficult technique, always over the bar. Manchester City have this goal kick. 0-0, 2 minutes played.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Villa's setup, and usually teams let Man City have the ball, but Villa are going to get after them. They're going to go and press them high, and that's what Unai Emery wants his teams to do, and that's what they've done in these first couple of minutes.
Manchester City have not necessarily enjoyed their trips to Villa Park in recent times. Villa have won the last 2 Premier League meetings with Manchester City here. Last couple of seasons where City have not been at their very best, and Villa taking advantage of that. Here is Foden running over halfway for Manchester City. First opportunity for Pep Guardiola's side to put some pressure on the Villa back line. Savinho far side the left, level with the edge of the penalty area, running at Cash onto his left foot, crossing, but far too close to Emi Martinez, and that's a comfortable catch for the Villa goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's unusual when you're seeing Savinho on that left-hand side, because usually he plays from the right, but obviously Oscar Bob's come in today. Big game for him because, as I said, Doku's been on good form on that left-hand side, so it'll be interesting to see how he fares.
Given away by Villa. Manchester City can't quite capitalise on the edge of the Aston Villa penalty area. Silva back to the former Wolves midfielder Mateus Núñez, operating predominantly at right back in this Pep Guardiola side. And now City can just control possession. Reinders, Gvardiol and Savinho once again far side the left in front of the Doug Ellis stand, which is where the Manchester City fans are housed in the corner. Savinho making good progress to the edge of the penalty area. Left-footed ball across. Camera's in the way of that one. Didn't really look as he played that out of the box, but it works out. Buendia from McGinn's touch, and now he's over halfway. Watkins is the runner, but a clever and in the end crucial touch from Ruben Diaz back to Donnarumma. That's the kind of ball that Ollie Watkins thrives on, Clinton, and good defending Ruben Diaz.
Yeah, it was a poor ball from Buendia, and he threw his head back in disgust because he knew they played their well out ever so well, but he should have picked the right pass.
Stones ominously coming forward for Manchester City. Already there's a good feel to this game at Villa Park. 4 minutes old on 5 Sports Extra. Savinho cutting in field this time, finds Bernardo Silva inside the penalty area. Haaland waits for the cutback, and it was just in front of Haaland. Bob wasn't too far away. Núñez was there as well. Villa will be a little concerned with the ease Bernardo Silva was able to move into Villa's territory there.
Yeah, I think you can see Bernardo Silva's going to play in that number 10 pocket with Phil Foden, and Stones and Reinders are going to be the two holding and sitting midfielders, and that's how it is at the moment, because Stones is staying in there. Bernardo Silva is a clever footballer. He's been in and out of the team, but at his age he's not going to play week in, week out.
Always constant talk of Bernardo Silva leaving Manchester City. Haaland on the end of a ball through from Savinho, at least that was the plan, but a little bit too much pace on the ball. It always feels like Bernardo Silva is playing his final season for Manchester City, but he has been a key part of the success enjoyed under Pep Guardiola since joining from Monaco way back when, and he's in the heart of everything Manchester City are doing well so far in the opening 5 minutes at Villa Park. At the moment, Manchester City are camped inside Villa territory. Here is Bernardo Silva again, number 20 on his back, running away from us. Stones to Núñez, slides it down the line. Foden's little touch. Oscar Bob looking very colourful in the orange boots with the lurid green socks. Infield it goes. Reinders on the edge of the penalty area. He goes for goal! And that's only just over the top. Reinders looking for the cross. Didn't really see anyone in the box, so why not? And that's not too far over.
Yeah, it opened up. No one came and closed him down. It was good football, and you're thinking, can he hit the target there? And he's leaning back and he's over the bar. But it's a good strike and good play from Man City.
So Aston Villa 0, Manchester City 0 over on 5 Live. Arsenal against Crystal Palace. Arsenal with the early lead in the Premier League. That's another good game, with Palace doing ever so well this season, have done for such a long time under Oliver Glasner. 5 Live for that one. Sports Extra 2 for Bournemouth against Forest. That's Nottingham Forest's first Premier League game with Sean Dyche at the helm. And on Sports Extra 3, just up the road from us, Birmingham to Wolverhampton. Wolves against Burnley at Molineux. That's a huge game for Wolves and for their under-pressure manager Vitor Pereira. Sports Extra 3 for that one. No goals in those games, and we'll keep you right in touch with them here on 5 Sports Extra. Manchester City monopolising early possession. Foden and Bob combine in the centre of the Villa half, and now Foden, centrally positioned, finds Bob on the right of the penalty area. Pass was a little overhit, and in Bob's efforts to regain possession, he couldn't keep it in play, and that's out for a Villa throw, left-back position.
Yeah, Pep's frustrated. I don't know why Phil Foden's looking to play to Bob. He's like one-on-one on the edge of the box. Just shift it and get your shot away. Good play between Foden and Bob, really good play, but Pep's frustrated because we know what Phil Foden's ability is like in that final third.
And signs that Phil Foden is finding his best form in a Manchester City shirt after a difficult couple of seasons that has coincided with the difficulties Manchester City have had throughout the team. Amadou Onana with a loose touch, but Pau Torres on hand to calmly play it back to Martinez. Konsa momentarily loses sight of it and then finds a clever pass to Camara, who spins out of the penalty area. And maybe Villa, for the first time in this game, can keep hold of the ball. Villa, who, Clinton, I think, surprised many with their start to the season. They've had such success under Unai Emery, celebrating his 3-year anniversary as Aston Villa manager, where they've finished in the Premier League's top 4. They've reached the quarter-finals of the Champions League, but they were very sluggish to get going. Yeah,
they were, and they didn't. And obviously now it's clicked. I know were disappointing in the Europa League in midweek, which is a disappointing result. But other than that, I think they've been outstanding. Performance last week at Tottenham was first class, and their big players are now coming to the party. But yeah, it was very surprising. But they did lose a lot of players in the summer, key players that came in and made a big difference.
Yeah, losing Marcus Rashford, the likes of Marco Asensio as well, 2 key players. Haaland on the end of this ball into the penalty area. Cash with some really good defending, got his body in between both Bernardo Silva and Erling Haaland, and clears downfield for Manchester City to start again. Diaz through a gap, Stones in that pocket between midfield and attack, and then he runs into trouble himself, and that trouble was Emi Buendia. Watkins being told by 35,000 Villa fans there was a man on his shoulder on the halfway line. McGinn's early pass is a good pass as well. Watkins on the last man's shoulder, but Gianluigi Donnarumma quickly off his line to smother.
Yeah, and it's a ball that you think John McGinn could have found him with, because Donnarumma looked like he was slow to come off his line, but it was good play from Aston Villa. They're not going to see a lot of the ball, but when they do, Chris, they have to manage to keep it and use it.
Yeah, and you suspect that ball over the top will be one they try and utilise often, with Manchester City playing a very high line. Into the 10th minute at Villa Park. Villa 0, Manchester City 0. There is a brisk breeze blowing across the pitch. We can see the flags above the Doug Ellis stand. Not violently billowing, but certainly not still either. Foden in field, and now Nunez with his left wrist heavily strapped. Manchester City moving it slowly forward. Bob hugging the touchline near side the right. As City go from left to right. Now the ball in field to Reinders. Back towards Oscar Bob. That was clever. Cleared well by Luca Digne, who was in a decent position, covering from his left-back position. Savinho, though, to keep the pressure on the Villa back line. His deep cross is too deep for everyone. Drops out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick. Pep Guardiola, with his hands above his head, applauds that. And Unai Emery on the edge of his own technical area. I say on the edge, he's actually in between the edge of it and the edge of the pitch. 2 very animated managers, Clinton. We know, both passionate Spaniards that will spend the majority of this afternoon standing on the edge of the end technical areas.
And that full official, they're not even in their box. Unai Emery's out his box. Pep's been out his box the whole time the game's been going on for the first 10 minutes. But yeah, it's fascinating because 2 very good tactical managers.
Robert Jones is the poor fourth official, who is standing in his own segment between the two technical areas, hands clasped behind his back, watching Aston Villa move forward. Very close to him on this near side, the Aston Villa left. Rodgers, the former Manchester City player, didn't make a senior appearance before his move to Middlesbrough. He's had a very good career at Aston Villa. And infield to the tall Amadou Onana. Camara, and now Villa enjoying some possession inside the Manchester City half. The ball with Cash on that far side, the right. A little triangle between Camara, Onana and now Konsa, who is back inside the centre circle. Closed down by Haaland. Onana keeps the play moving to this near side, the right. Torres, Onana, almost at walking pace, surrounded by three Manchester City players. But he's very calm and composed, is Amadou Onana in possession. Cash now moving forward, far side the right. Watkins the target with the ball through. And like the majority of Villa's passes so far, Clinton, just a little bit too much on it.
It's not even a hard pass from Matty Cash. I don't know what he... just slide it into Watkins. Watkins, I'm watching his movement. He's making a lot of good runs. And it gets frustrated as a centre-forward when you keep making runs and your team keep going sideways, backwards. That time they've done ever so well to get out, but Cash has got to be better with his final ball.
Enjoying a good season is Matty Cash, and will be signing, as is expecting, a new contract at Villa Park. He has been influential both at the back and going forward, and you sense he will be spending the majority of this afternoon defending, and he's got some defending to do again as Savinho is testing him on that far side, the Manchester City left. Deflects out of play for a throw, and Savinho picks up a ball from that little orange cone on that far side and gets Manchester City moving forward. 12 minutes in, Villa 0, Manchester City 0. No goals in the other three Premier League games, kicking off at 2. And at 4:30 on 5 Live, full commentary from the Hill Dickinson Stadium, Everton against Tottenham Hotspur. Diaz at walking pace. Nunez, smooth pass to Bob. First time pass from him to Foden. And back to Bob. All of this very close to the halfway line in front of the barking Unai Emery, who watches Nunez play a ball straight into his goalkeeper's hands, and Emi Martinez makes a comfortable catch. Unai Emery, who has lost 11 of his 17 managerial meetings with Pep Guardiola. That's most defeats of any opponent he's faced, which is not a massive surprise. I don't think anyone has a positive net record against Pep Guardiola, given the calibre of his managerial skills, but also the teams that he has managed. Reinders dispossessed by Camara, but Gvardiol can pick up the pieces for Manchester City, who can move it forward again. They've started well, Manchester City, Clinton. They're moving it nicely.
Yeah, they are, ever so well.
Bernardo Silva on the edge of the penalty area. Konsa chest control with Haaland lurking dangerously. Konsa's pass to Pau Torres was short. McGinn with a lovely touch to Rodgers. He's got space to operate, but that space very quickly closed down. He's done ever so well to wriggle away from three Manchester City players. And suddenly Watkins now, left-hand angle of the penalty area, running at Nunez. The step over. He's back onto his right foot. Space to a cross in towards Rodgers, and Bob was there with the challenge. Decent play from Aston Villa, but never really any space for either Rodgers or McGinn or Watkins to pull the trigger.
Yeah, it's good play from Morgan Rodgers. The way he flicked over Stones' head was fantastic. And then when Dia passed it to Watkins, good play from Watkins. Wasn't enough bodies in the box to help him.
It's woken the crowd up, and the first strains of Holtenders in the Sky of the afternoon. First goal of the Premier League games this afternoon has come at Molineux, and it's a big one for Burnley. Zion Fleming has scored. Wolves 0, Burnley 1, and that will only increase the pressure on Vitor Pereira.
That's a must-win for Wolves.
Yeah.
They're getting cut adrift. That's huge. It's a huge goal for Burnley.
It is, and you do fear, don't you, for the likes of Wolves and for West Ham, given how well Leeds, Sunderland and Burnley have started.
Definitely, yeah, you do fear for them, because listen, you keep saying the next game, the games run out, and we should be winning your home games against teams in and around you.
Sports Extra 3 via the BBC Sounds app for Wolves, Burnley at Molineux. Wolves 0, Burnley 1. Konsa, this Aston Villa appearance number 249. He's had a very good Villa career, like so many that have made the move to Villa Park in the last 5 or 6 years. The former Brentford defender, establishing himself in the Villa back line and with England as well. Cash, the Polish international on that far side, the right, battling with Savinho, and illegally battling was Savinho. Michael Oliver, today's referee, gives the free kick in Aston Villa's favour. We've played 15, nearly 16 minutes at Villa Park. It remains goalless, but there's a good tempo to the game.
Yeah, very good tempo from both teams. You always expect when you play against Man City, you might not see a lot of the ball, but they haven't really tested Martinez. Man City haven't, and Villa look dangerous on the counter-attack.
7 wins from their last 9 in all competitions for Manchester City. Not lost since Brighton away the last day of August when they led and were pegged back by Fabian Hürzeler's side. They've got a nice habit of doing that sort of thing to the big sides of Brighton. Villa on their left-hand side, the near side, as they go from right to left. Onana, who has seen plenty of the ball in the Villa midfield. Buendia spins away from 3 Manchester City players. Low centre of gravity working out for Buendia, and now finds Rodgers on the edge of the penalty area to Watkins. First touch takes him wide, and now Digne's right foot effort blocked by Stones. And had Watkins' first touch been better, he would have had a clean shot on goal. But that's Villa's brightest moment, and the crowd react to it. McGinn on that far side, the right now, exchanges passes with Cash. All of this equidistant between penalty area and halfway line, and now all the way back to halfway and Konsa. Oh, Clinton had that. Watkins' touch been a little more sure he was shooting on goal.
Yeah, it was a good play from Buendia though. It started the game really well in them little pockets with Rodgers. Them two have started well, but even though Watkins has the bad touch, his back heel to Digne was good. If Digne's on his left foot, he scores. It was a weak shot with his weaker right foot. But yeah, good play, but you're right. Watkins' first touch took him too wide. If he's scoring goals, Chris, he takes that and he gets his shot away. It's all about confidence.
Yeah, just 1 goal in his last 10 Premier League games, Ollie Watkins. He, like Villa, struggled at the start of the season. And I presume, and you'll know better than anyone, Clinton, that I presume most positions on the field are confidence positions, but it feels striker is one of those that's so important. If you're in form, in rhythm, and with confidence, then you're scoring goals very freely.
Yeah, definitely.
Another long ball over the top for Villa. This time it's Morgan Rodgers on the end of it. Gvardiol runs into Cash, who dispossesses him on the edge of the penalty area. Cash, though, has to run all the way back, almost into his own half, to ensure Villa still have the ball. He was isolated on that far side. Villa, though, have enjoyed the last 5 minutes of this game. 0-0 with Manchester City. Digne, another fine ball over the top from Torres. Digne will be intercepted by Nunez. And what's the referee given here? A corner. Well, Nunez got in front of Digne, who brought him down, and I think Manchester City wanted Michael Oliver to award a free kick to City rather than a Villa corner.
And I think it was a free kick. I think Digne kicks Nunez, and it is a free kick. And Michael Oliver knows he made a mistake, because that's why he took so long to make the decision whether it was a corner or not. So he better hope that the no goal comes from this, because Pep is in the 4th official's ear, and he knows he's made a big mistake. Wouldn't surprise me as soon as the corner comes in, he blows up for a free kick.
You do often see that,
yeah,
don't you?
You do, yeah.
You do often see that. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. But if a goal goes in, then you know what Pep Guardiola will be saying to the 4th official just to his left. Villa are taking their time over this corner. Buendia is close to Cash, and it goes short to Emi Buendia. In it goes, all the way across, taken well by Cash, who scores brilliantly. And Villa do score from the corner. Matty Cash fires into the bottom left corner. He goes to celebrate by the corner flag, and it's Villa who strike first at Villa Park. Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0.
What did I tell you? Like, he's made a mistake, Michael Oliver, but do Villa care? Nah, you know what? One thing I'll say about Villa, their set pieces, they get it spot on. It's fantastic. Where Buendia and people make decoy runs, comes to Matty Cash, but Matty Cash still got a lot to do. His touch is fantastic, and he just drills it left foot into the bottom corner. They've got one of the best goalies in the world, but Donnarumma had no chance. But it's a brilliant goal from Matty Cash. Just drills it into the bottom corner. Fantastic.
The touch to set himself was excellent, because it was fizzed at him with some pace, and then with his left foot he finds the bottom corner. Donnarumma, as you say, Clinton, the best part of 6'7", 6'8", didn't move. His second goal of the season, Matty Cash. He's enjoyed a very good start to this season, and I'm sure City will complain over the awarding of the corner. They felt it should have been a free kick rather than a corner, but Villa take full advantage. Another side, like so many this season, that take full advantage of set pieces with their own set piece coach in Austin McPhee. He'll be delighted with that, and it's Villa who strike first.
Yeah. And at the moment, Arsenal are having a great weekend, even though they're still 0-0 at the moment.
Yeah.
But, do you know what I mean? So there's a long way to go, though, and fair play to Villa. They've started this game ever so well.
Well, at the moment, Arsenal's threat is coming from Sunderland in second place. Watkins to the goal scorer Cash, and suddenly you can feel the confidence coursing through the veins of Villa players. Cash's early ball, Rodgers was not far away from it. Donnarumma wed it and collapses on it, and I suspect will try and slow things down for Manchester City because they are second best at the moment.
They are. It's brilliant goalkeeper from Donnarumma. They already read that because it was good play from Watkins, and Matty Cash is full of confidence. Good ball in, and Rodgers would have had a goal there, but good goalkeeping.
Nunez long, there's suddenly lots of space for Bernardo Silva. Villa have lost him, and now Haaland on the right hand side of the penalty area. Erling Haaland saved by Martinez, and I think we all thought that was ending in the back of the net. A weak telegraph finish in the end from Haaland, who opened his body with his left foot. Martinez read it, makes the save, and that is a surprise. It
is a surprise. You know what, he knew which way he was going, because as you said, he opened up his body and telegraphed it, but yeah, Villa won't like that. There was space for Bernardo Silva, and once Haaland was in, you were just thinking it was going to be 1-1. But yeah, unfortunately for Man City, Haaland didn't have his shooting boots on. But I think that he'll get many more chances this afternoon.
Well, despite Erling Haaland's excellent recent record, he's only scored 1 in 4 appearances against Aston Villa, not scored in the last 3 games he's played against Villa. But that was an excellent opportunity for Manchester City to equalise. But based on the feel of this game, I tend to agree with you. I don't think that's the last of the chances for either side.
No, there'll be chances in this game. As I said, it's 2 really good teams who create chances, a lot of chances, so there'll be more chances in this game.
And we have a glimpse of Villa's set piece. Austin McPhee looking at a tripod with an iPad on top of it, maybe looking back at the set piece and thinking, I did well there.
Yeah, he
came up with a good routine.
He did. He's on crutches, to be fair.
He is, isn't he?
Yeah, the way he was hobbling along, so he must have had some surgery or damaged something to himself.
Not sure what he's done, but it's not hindered his ability to concoct excellent set-piece routines, and that was a very good one for Cash to score with his left foot. City have a free kick meanwhile, centre of the Villa half, left-hand side. Foden delivers, but again, far too close to Martinez. John Stones is in a heap on the floor and looks pleadingly at Michael Oliver, who's a long way from it. Michael Oliver's almost on the halfway line as Villa get on with this quickly. And Silva plucks the ball out the sky expertly.
It's ridiculous, that is.
What a touch that was.
It makes it look easy, Bernardo Silva. What a beautiful footballer to watch.
Yeah, beautiful's the word, isn't he? Wonderful ability. And he's got a job on his hands, though, in that City midfield, because Aston Villa lead this game by 1-0 on 5 Sports Extra, 23 minutes in. And the crowd are right behind this Aston Villa side, looking for their 4th Premier League win in a row, unbeaten in their last 5 in the league. And a victory would move them into the top 7. And based on results today, they could go higher than that. But so many other games taking place this afternoon. Still Wolves 0, Burnley 1. The only other goal in the 2 o'clock games, bar the one we've seen here. City on the attack, the ball played into the box just behind Foden. Bob will try and retrieve. Rodgers in the way of that, and he glides away from 2, 3 challenges and will win the free kick. He has such graceful ability, Morgan Rodgers, with the ball. Like Bernardo Silva, he's another good player to watch when he dribbles, and he got Villa out of a difficult situation there.
Yeah, he's got his mojo back, Morgan Rodgers. He looks unbelievable player at the moment. The way he just glides through past defenders like they're not there, it is beautiful to watch, like Bernardo Silva. It's just so elegant and makes the game look so easy.
Yeah, he was another one, wasn't he, that was blossoming and flourishing for England and then would come back to Villa and it didn't quite click for whatever reason.
Yeah, and that's because his whole squad, the whole team wasn't playing well. I think he's a confidence player. Once he's playing like how you can see this afternoon and got his goal last week, I think he'll just go from strength to strength now.
Matty Cash's goal on 19 minutes separating the 2 sides. Villa dicing with danger inside their own penalty area, but that's a clear push by Savinho on camera, and that will be a free kick to Aston Villa inside their own penalty area. They get on with it quickly. Watkins, that's another wonderful touch. Buendia's over halfway on this near side the left. Digne's close by. Buendia and Onana. Villa are on it this afternoon. Every player getting good feels of the football. Onana to Rodgers, forced a little bit wide, left hand side of the penalty area. Digne in support, and he gets it now, the French left back. Stones comes to meet him. Little flicked ball to Buendia on the edge of the penalty area. Very close to the corner flag this. Buendia is being shoved to the floor by Nunez. Michael Oliver's let an awful lot go in this game so far. He let that go as well. and the end result is a Villa throw.
Nah, I think it's not. You know what? Buendia should just move the ball. He's trying to show strength, and I think Nunes does well there. He should just move the ball quicker. Sometimes footballers love doing that to show their strength.
Yeah. There's only one winner there. Buendia is almost half the size of Nunes. Digne was shaping for the long throw. Instead goes short to the aforementioned Buendia. Not a great cross. And it's headed away by Reinders. Cash being urged to shoot from all of 40 yards. And he wisely ignores the crowd's pleas and goes all the way back to Martinez via Camera. Martinez with the ball forward. Now Buendia is down here in Manchester City's right back position all on his own. I presume when he delivered the cross maybe he got clattered or has perhaps tweaked something, so Martinez has the ball and will just bowl it out of play so Emi Buendia can receive some treatment. I didn't see, Clinton, what happened there?
No, I don't think nothing happened. He just went to cross the ball. It must be an injury that is there, that he's had ongoing for a long time, but you don't want to lose him because I think Buendia has been outstanding so far in this first half.
Well, he's taken his right boot off and thrown it to the ground. Villa's medical team come on, and this stoppage in play allows players from both teams to come to this near side to get some instructions and get a drink as well. Bournemouth in front at the Vitality Stadium against Nottingham Forest. Marcus Tavernier has scored that game on Sports Extra 2. Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 0. So Buendia receiving treatment, which allows me, Clinton, to ask you about Harvey Elliott, who is not in the Villa squad this afternoon. He's been an unused sub for the last 3 games for Villa in all competitions. There was a lot of noise when he moved from Liverpool. Unai Emery in his press conference earlier this week said he's got to do more on the pitch, and he's not in the squad at all today.
Yeah, I know he wants him to do more on the pitch, but you got to give me minutes to do more on the pitch. You can't keep just giving me 30 minutes, 45 minutes. You know, give me a run of games. I'm coming to a new club. It takes a bit of time. I get that, but he is good enough to get on the bench. And if he's not on the bench, it's surprising. I can see him going back to Liverpool because you leave Liverpool to go and play football, and what's happening here is what would have been happening at Liverpool. So, yeah, it's a strange one.
Yeah, he's here today. I saw him forlornly trudge up the touchline just in front of the... or just before the two teams came out of the tunnel. Buendia still looks in pain here.
Yeah, I think he's got to come off. They just called Jadon Sancho back, so obviously that's an injury that's flared up again, and it's a huge blow because he's come into good form recently and been chipping in with goals as well.
Yeah, he has done. Emi Buendia, he's got 3 already this season. A player that you felt had his future elsewhere from Aston Villa. He was sent out on loan last season to the Bundesliga. But he has started the season well, but he will not be continuing this game because he is wincing as he's helped off the field. He's getting a good round of applause from the Villa fans who appreciate the work he's done so far. And he will be replaced by another former Manchester City youth graduate in Jadon Sancho, who will get his opportunity to impress against his former side. So Buendia off, Jadon Sancho on. 29 minutes played, Villa 1, Manchester City 0, and he'll be keen, won't he, you always want to play well against your former side. Yeah,
of course you do. You hear Man City fans giving him a bit of booze, so yeah, he'll want to impress, definitely, the way Morgan Rogers is as well.
Lovely touch, McGinn. Silva though wraps a leg around him and wins the free kick, does McGinn. Thought Michael Oliver might have let that go based on how he's been, but he does award a free kick to Aston Villa, base of the centre circle, inside their own half, and they lead this game by 1-0. So like for like with Jadon Sancho on for Emi Buendia. The ball with Emi Martinez in the Aston Villa goal, short to Torres, and now Amadou Onana uses Digne, and back to Onana again. Villa are moving the ball around very confidently. It doesn't matter where they are on the pitch as well, and they seeming to move out of tight positions effortlessly, and they're doing the same again. In the blink of an eye, they're on the edge of the City penalty area. Watkins on the right hand side of the box. Sancho's in support. It's Jadon Sancho. His first touch is a miss kick, but he gets it back. Now Camera. McGinn has space. John McGinn wide via a deflection, and you fancied him. So many of his Villa goals come from that sort of range. He hit it well enough. It took a nick on its way through. Villa have a corner and they lead this game 1-0.
Yeah, it's good play again. Sancho come on and done ever so well there. He did have the miss kick, but he laid it back to Camera. Played to McGinn. Rogers is going mad that he wants to be slipped in. I think John McGinn has to have the shot there.
Set it well. Shot with his left foot. It's John Stones, the back of Stones as he was sliding. And it's a corner to Villa. Wolves 0, Burnley 2, a latest score from Molineux. Zion Fleming, the former Millwall striker, has scored again.
Wow, that is some result.
Yeah.
It won't be good there
I think I can hear the boos from here.
Exactly.
Wolves 0, Burnley 2, half an hour played. Sports Extra 3 for it. Villa 1, Manchester City 0 here on 5 Sports Extra. Villa corner in front of the Doug Ellis stand. Delivered well. Watkins, free header. Blocked. Watkins again. Blocked again. No one tracking Ollie Watkins. McGinn has it for Villa on the left of the box. His right-footed ball in. A stooping Diaz heads away. And Foden can bring it further clear for Manchester City, who are under severe pressure here, already trailing 1-0, and Ollie Watkins, I don't think he could believe his luck, the freedom he had inside the Manchester City penalty area, but his header, in fairness, was into a crowd of players, and it would have had to have been a really powerful header to break through. Yeah, it would have. He just never looked comfortable though when it was coming to him. He should have really have been, testing the goalkeeper. It's a weak header at the end, but their set pieces are brilliant. Aston Villa, players find space, and they are the better team at the moment as well. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Manchester City started well, but Villa have the lead with just under 15 minutes to play until half-time. Savinho left hand side, a ball into the box, headed away by Pau Torres under no real pressure. Rodgers can skip away from 2 City players again. The 1-2 with Watkins. Rodgers continues his run, far side the right, coming in field. The give and go with Watkins again. They're playing their own game. Now McGinn getting involved. Rodgers was not fouled by Bernardo Silva. Michael Oliver waves it away. There were no real appeals, in all fairness, from Rodgers. And Villa have it back with Digne and now Torres on halfway. Digne again, down the line is Jadon Sancho. Rodgers wants it in field. Sancho ignores him, heads towards the edge of the penalty area, left hand side. Digne on the overlap. Digne used, and his cross was nowhere near anyone in claret and blue. And Manchester City can clear, and maybe they can counter-attack. Not necessarily the style they're renowned for, but Savinho has it far side the left, just over halfway. Bernardo Silva is central. Oh, it's a terrible pass from Savinho. Behind Bernardo Silva, too far in front of Oscar Bob, and that's a good field position wasted by Manchester City. Yeah, they started off ever so well, but they just look flat at the moment, Man City. But you got to give credit to Aston Villa. I think it's them. Their tempo's much more higher than Man City's at the moment. Pep Guardiola turns away from the edge of the technical area in disgust and goes to sit down to chunter away with his various assistants. Unai Emery still right on the edge of his technical area, or at least would be if the technical area continued to the edge of the pitch. He's back in his box now, having just given some instructions to Sancho. Digne on halfway and all the way back to Pau Torres. He'll be delighted, Unai Emery, with what he has seen from his side, as he has his hands in his pockets watching Villa build fluently again. Sancho on the edge of the box, not a great pass towards Watkins, and that's a foul. Watkins on Mateus Nunes, there's no doubt about that. And Manchester City have this free kick on the edge of their own technical area. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Yeah, I think he got away with one there, Nunes. I think Watkins got his body in, but yeah, Sancho's got to play the ball in. I know he's just come on, so I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, but it was a simple pass. Bournemouth 1, Nottingham Forest 0, Wolves 0, Burnley 2. Goals in 2 of the other 3 Premier League games, still goalless between Arsenal and Crystal Palace. Everton Spurs to come on 5 Live at 4:30. City have possession and are moving it slowly forward. Exchange of passes once and twice between Nunez and Stones. And for the 3rd time that combination combine. Might be for the 4th time here in the centre of the Aston Villa half. Instead, Haaland, very rare touch for Haaland. We know that's how he operates. You barely notice him and then suddenly he crops up with a goal. Good run this from Savinho into the box. Rather Reinders, and then Silva is fouled. A flag up on this near side. Villa will have this free kick. And Manchester City at the moment, Clinton, just seem to lack ideas when it gets into that final third. They're short of ideas. They need the players like Phil Foden and Bernardo Silva to get on the ball. Oscar Bobb's been really quiet on this right hand side. It wouldn't surprise me if he goes to look to his bench earlier on, someone like a Doku to come on. Yeah, Doku, who has started this season in fine form for Manchester City. Maybe a little bit of a surprise to see him out of the team. Has created 3 chances per 90 minutes this season, more than any other player in this division. 3 Premier League assists, only Kudus and Grealish have more. But he's on the bench this afternoon, and we do know with Pep Guardiola that unless your name is Erling Haaland and perhaps Gianluigi Donnarumma, you're not guaranteed of a starting place.
Exactly.
Bob on halfway to Mateus Nunes. The atmosphere has just dropped a little bit. Villa fans were right behind their side during their excellent spell, a spell in which they scored and had further chances to double that advantage. It's Manchester City with Ruben Dias, shirt tucked into his shorts. You don't often see that in the modern game. Now Mateus Nunes coming forward, back to Dias again, white and yellow boots on, base of the centre circle. Movement in front of him just a little bit static. Foden collects nicely on the turn, running at Sancho. Back in field he goes, and now Bob on this near side, the right, level with the edge of the penalty area, looking to worry Digne. Infield to Foden, didn't really look as he played that to Stones, who was making a good run into the box. Villa lose their way, trying to play out from the back, but Manchester City are not doing anything particularly convincingly at the moment. Savinho coming in field, edge of the penalty area, tries to get it back from Gvardiol, who makes his way into the box, still going, and then is brought down. No penalty, says Michael Oliver, who was very close by. And the shot over the bar from Foden, but I think the referee had already given perhaps a free kick to Aston Villa for handball. Either way, it's a Villa goal kick or a free kick. Couple of half squeaks there maybe for a penalty. Gvardiol was appealing, I'm not sure it was.
Nah, it's Kamara's trying to get a foot on it, and Gvardiol's already going down, so I think Michael Oliver makes the right decision there.
So no penalty, and it remains Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Villa with this excellent home record. I know we talk about a slow start to the season, but they weren't losing too many games, and they've lost just one of their last 22 here at Villa Park, and that came against Crystal Palace during that bad spell when Palace were beating everyone, in fairness to them, and they were convincing 3-0 winners here at Villa Park. But that's their only defeat in the last 22 Premier League home games, a run stretching back to September of last year. It's been the foundation of what Villa have done ever so well. Unai Emery's 3-year anniversary celebrated this week, and there's no doubt, Clinton, when he came in to replace Steven Gerrard 3 years ago, Villa were not in a good place, relegation zone, and since then, 4th place finish, Champions League quarter-finalists. He has undoubtedly done a very good job.
Excellent job, he's been outstanding.
Watkins, the recipient of an Onana pass. Now he's into the penalty area, running at Stones, onto his right foot, trying to find space for a shot. Instead it's Digne, his low ball in, Stones in the way. Digne retrieves, difficult spinning ball to control. Back to Pau Torres on the edge of the box. Onana, all very tight, and always had the feel of a move that would come to an end. Haaland now is out-muscled by Onana. It's not often you say that, and Camara then plays a very strange pass straight out of play, and Manchester City have this throw.
Yeah, you know he's got that look about him today, Haaland, where he's like, I'm not really on it, but that's how he is. And then all of a sudden something comes and he just clicks. So I think Onana does well there, but he needs to do well for the whole 90 minutes.
I think you lose track, don't you, of the number of games where Haaland is anonymous, and he still somehow comes away with 2 goals.
Exactly that. You have to switch on for the whole 90 minutes plus.
His goal-scoring record this season is just ridiculous. I mean, even better than his previous seasons, which have also been ridiculous. His numbers are just outrageous. So many goals this season. Foul on Reinders by McGinn, and it's a free kick to Manchester City. Rodgers is in a position on the floor, clutching his right ankle. Yellow card. Now,
it was Savinho's tackle. I think Savinho just he takes a bad touch and he's just stretching and he catches Rodgers on the ankle.
Yep, spot on, Clinton. That's exactly what's happened there, and Savinho gets a yellow card. That's one of those that I suggest in your day that's probably not even a foul, because he gets a lot of the ball and the player, but in your day that's a fair challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a fair challenge. It's definitely not a yellow card, that's for sure.
Yeah. Savinho into the book. We have 5 minutes of the first half to play. It's raced by. It's been a good watch. Villa lead this game 1-0. Matty Cash's goal on 19 minutes. Villa moving forward fluently again. Sancho, the overlapping Digne, is ignored for now. He will get it, I think. Now the pass to Digne, back in field. Onana, Cash calling for it. And the move is progressing from left to right, infield to Camara, and now Watkins. Villa are doing this so well. Cash now on the right-hand side to McGinn. Ball with his weaker foot is an excellent ball. Rodgers, how did he miss that? It looked perfect for a Rodgers header in. Good defending by Nunez in the end to head over his own crossbar, but another excellent Villa chance.
Yeah, I think he should score this. I think watching the replay, it's a great ball in from beginning. Yeah, he's got a free header. Rodgers, you might can say he's just ahead of the ball, but Man City looked vulnerable defending this afternoon.
Villa scored from their first corner of the game. What will they do with their second? The goal scorer is now corner taker, Matty Cash. Right arm in the air. What can Villa concoct from this one? Cash delivers with pace. Konsa wasn't too far away, but it zips through the penalty area. McGinn will trot to that far side to retrieve for Villa. In with his right foot, another fine delivery. Outswinger this time, so difficult for any Villa player to get purchase on the header. And City clear to comparative safety, and that is the halfway line. Camera back to Martinez. Arsenal lead Palace 1-0, and it's an emotional goal for Eberechi Eze.
Oh my gosh.
Against his old side.
I knew it would happen. It had to be him, didn't it?
It had to be him. Arsenal 1, Palace 0, the former Palace midfielder Eberechi Eze. So we have goals in all of the 2 o'clock Premier League games. Donnarumma had to think quickly, but then moves the ball out quickly. Foden with a very early and direct pass to find Gvardiol surging over halfway. Now Savinho, far side the left, infield. Gvardiol again, quickly closed down by Watkins. Villa have worked so hard off the ball to deny any space to this City side. Here is Haaland on the edge of the penalty area, lays it off to Nunez. Now the far side to Bob, running at Digne. Bob, who's been quiet on this near side, the Manchester City right. Nunez waiting for any kind of opportunity to play a ball into the penalty area, but at the moment that opportunity is not being taken. Mateus Nunez again. A couple more goals have gone in the Premier League, as Bob now has it on the right hand side of the penalty area. Slow, but you know the injection is coming. Now it is. Into the penalty area he goes, but runs into a claret and blue wall. But the clearance isn't great. Bournemouth now 2 up at home to Forest. Eli Krupi has scored. Good run of form for him in place of Evan Nielsen. Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0, and Wolves back in it at Molineux. Jurgen Strand-Larsen has scored to make it Wolves 1, Burnley 2. Manchester City still on the attack. Stones on the edge of the penalty area, moves it across one more to the centrally positioned Nunez. Now Foden, but Manchester City going backwards at the moment. Foden with a direct ball to the back post, good one as well. Savinho in space, off balance, and his hooked left-footed cross easy for Emi Martinez. 1-0 Villa.
Yeah, he made a good run there, and I think he was stretching Savinho. Maybe his best bet was to take a touch. It was comfortable for Martinez. Bit better from Man City though.
Yeah, they're ending the half strongly. We have 2 minutes of it to play on 5 Sports Extra. Villa 1, Manchester City 0, under grey, overcast West Midland skies. Nippy as well. It's definitely big coat weather. Many bobble hats and scarves in front of us as we watch from our low position in the Trinity Road stand, just to the left of the halfway line. City attacking with Reinders in a central position. That's a good ball to Stones. Haaland wants it. Haaland nearly got it. Cleared by a long, telescopic Onana leg. Very tall midfielder Onana. He needed every inch of that 6'4" frame. Now Nunez turns into trouble. Watkins robs him. Support a little bit slow in coming. Rodgers is there. Watkins takes it towards the corner flag, and he's got Jadon Sancho with him. Sancho now slows it down, and you sense, Clinton, that Villa might be in half-time preservation mode here.
Yeah, definitely. You see Unai Emery, he always like that. Slow it down and let's get set again, and then we can quicken it up again.
The move progressing to that far side, the right. Goal scorer Cash to Konsa. Camera offers short. Cash has it back again, and we're into the final minute of the first half. A minute plus stoppage time, and you won't suspect, Clinton, there'll be too much. We had the Buendia stoppage, didn't we? But that was done in 2 or 3 minutes, so you wonder whether we will get maybe 2 minutes added on. Certainly hasn't been any lengthy stoppages, and there's been a really good feel to this game. Now Digne over halfway, early cross, not sure who he saw there. McGinn will scamper to rescue the ball for Villa, far side the right, a couple of yards in from the touchline. Cash has got Onana square. Onana at walking pace, a effortless clip to Sancho, level with the edge of the penalty area, left-hand side. The long-shirted Digne to Pau Torres wearing the blue base layer, and now all the way to Konsa. And we will have 3 minutes of added on time at the end of a first half that Aston Villa lead by 1-0.
And have been the better team and thoroughly deserved the 1-goal lead, especially after the first 15 minutes. They've been the better team. Man City looked flat, and it's like Villa need to get that second goal though, because you know Man City will have a spell.
Yeah, bar the Haaland opportunity when his weak left foot shot was saved by Martinez from a promising position. It's difficult to think of too many other Manchester City openings. McGinn fouled by Gvardiol, who glares at the assistant referee, who was probably the official who gave that because he was close to it. And Michael Oliver agreed, and now Gvardiol is off to have a discussion with Stuart Burt on that far side. But free kick Villa is the decision.
Yeah, I think it's the right decision. I think John McGinn's waiting though. He wants the contact, he wants the little touch, and he gets it, and then he goes down. So he kind of bought that free kick, but there was contact.
And he's also pointing to various positions on the field where he feels fouls have been committed. That's very clever, isn't it? Because if you brandish the yellow card, you're getting booked. But maybe if you point to certain positions, the referee knows what you're saying, but it's not brandishing a yellow.
Exactly, it's clever.
That is clever. Yeah, that is clever. 3, or rather a minute and 20 seconds of the 3 have been played. Villa set piece, right hand side, crossing opportunity, certainly not in a shooting position, and cashes over this, crosses deep. Konsa's header made it deep, actually, it wasn't that deep, and Tavares at the far post couldn't quite sort his feet out, and Manchester City hurriedly clear. They've looked a threat to Villa from set pieces, and that again wasn't too far away from turning into a profitable situation.
Yeah, they do look good. They get good deliveries and stuff, so they look really good.
Digne accepts a towel, a white towel from a ball boy close by to dry the ball. The rain is falling very, very steadily. Just about make it out if we peer across to the far side, and we can see the rain against the backdrop of the floodlights on top of the Doug Ellis stand opposite us. So a little bit of zippiness to the pitch. Digne to Sancho, to Rodgers on the right hand side of the centre circle. There was a ball through. Nunez was playing everyone onside. Watkins knew it, Digne knew it. Hurried clearance by Donnarumma, and Villa still on the front foot. McGinn on that far side, the right, level with the edge of the penalty area, onto his right foot. Watkins was surrounded by City players, didn't get that far anyway, and Savinho with number 26 on his back can run loosely away for Manchester City. Haaland will be fouled by Konsa, and that's a free kick to Manchester City. They will have to get on with this quickly if they harbour any ambitions of creating an opportunity before the half-time whistle, because we have 10 seconds of normal time to play. That's a foul by Pau Torres on Foden, who is slow in getting up, but I think Reinders knows that Foden can't afford to roll around for too long, because we played the 3 minutes, and Michael Oliver says, well, that's that. So Phil Foden may have just cost his team a set piece, or having said that, he's collapsed to the ground again, so maybe he is more injured than we think. Anyway, half-time, Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Matty Cash with a goal, 19 minutes from a set piece, a corner that I'm sure Manchester City will argue shouldn't have been given as a corner. Looked like a foul on Nunez. Michael Oliver awarded the corner, and from it the ball played across the penalty area. Cash's first touch excellent, his second even better, left foot into the far corner, and Clinton Morrison, it's a deserved lead for Villa.
Yeah, it is. I think Villa have been the better team. I thought City were brilliant first 15 minutes without really testing Martinez, but it's probably Villa, the team that you're thinking maybe it could have got the second goal in this game, but they've been outstanding. I think defensively good, midfield, and they've been a threat in them attacking areas. So positive performance from Villa, but it's only the first half. Need to continue in the second half.
Just the one moment really for Manchester City, that Haaland chance which came so soon after the Villa goal. We thought it was 1-1, but opened up his body, and I think it was read, wasn't it, by Martinez?
Yeah, it was. And you know, it's a good opportunity. You knew what Haaland wanted to do, but even though you would have read it, you would have thought Haaland would have bent it into that far corner, but it was too close to Martinez, and it's the only chance he's had. He's been really quiet, but you can never sleep on Haaland. That's why he's one of the best in the world.
And you can never sleep on Manchester City, because you look at their bench quickly: Clinton, Omar Marmoush, Ryan Cherky, Jeremy Doku. There is talent there, so Manchester City have the ability to change a game via their bench.
Yeah, they do, and we were speaking about it before the game, how strong their bench is, and this bench is really strong. So if it's not working out, I think Pep might give it another 15 minutes, then he'll make some substitutions, or he might do it at half-time.
Maybe. The atmosphere has improved at Molineux, because Wolves are level. Wolves 2, Burnley 2. Marshall Manetzi has equalised. So some second half in prospect at Molineux, and we should be in for a good second half as well. Clinton, for now, thank you. We shall be back on 5 Sports Extra in around 15 minutes' time for the resumption of Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. But for now, we'll hand you back to BBC Radio 5 Live.
Tavernier, when we saw the replay afterwards, it looked like the corner shouldn't have been given in the first place, but the goal stood. The second goal was a beauty from Junior Krupi. He looks another real talent brought in here at Bournemouth. A crisp, low shot into the bottom left corner. The closest Forest have come was a powerful shot from Nico Williams, but straight at Petrovic. Sean Dyche has spent most of the half looking very frustrated indeed. Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0.
Andy, I think flashing forward, that corner decision, when it does quite clearly come back off Tavernier and should have been a goal kick, we're going to get a lot more should there be VAR for corners after that, I think.
Yeah, and also, there was a lot of confusion, I think, in the crowd because the replay obviously came up after the goal had been scored and given. The Nottingham Forest players crowded around the referee, but as you say, there is still confusion about whether VAR could have even got involved in that. I don't think it could have done, but the replay was still shown on the screens here. So it was an unusual situation, but Bournemouth have been just far, far better than Forest all over the pitch.
Half-time at Molineux, and what a half, Charlie.
What a half indeed. Wolves 2, Burnley 2. A late first half comeback spares the Wolves players a right earful from their fans. 2 Zian Fleming goals for Burnley had them 2 up, but Josh Collin fouled Santi Bueno in the penalty area 5 minutes before the break, and Jorgen Strand Larsen made no mistake from the spot. That's his first Premier League goal of the season. Then Menezes scored the equaliser in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Wolves didn't want the half-time whistle in the end, but for the first 35 minutes or so, it looked like they never wanted to see a football again. Half-time, 2-2.
Remember, you can listen to the second half of all of these games on BBC Sounds. Coming up next, then, we're going to hear from the Hearts manager, Derek McInnes. They beat Celtic earlier today to move 8 points clear of Brendan Rodgers' side at the top of the Scottish Premiership. We'll be at Ibrox as well in the next 10 minutes. Danny Rowe will get his Rangers managerial career in the league underway at home to Kilmarnock. We'll make our first trip of the day to the Hill Dickinson as well, because Everton Spurs is live on Premier League Sunday at 4:30. All of that to come after the news with Nick Hatfield.
The voice of the UK.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Sir Keir Starmer says a sex offender who was mistakenly released from prison will be deported after he was found this morning in North London. Hadush Kabatu, a migrant from Ethiopia, is back in custody following a 2-day search. He was jailed last month for assaulting a woman and a 14-year-old girl in Essex. Our correspondent Graham Satchel's in Finsbury Park, where Kabatu was found after a police tip-off.
They were almost entirely reliant on the public to spot him, and that's exactly what happened this morning at 8:03 London time. They received a call from a member of the public to say that they thought they'd seen him here in the Finsbury Park area. Police arrived at 8:19, and just a few moments later they found Kabatu, detained him.
2 men have been arrested over the theft of crown jewels from the Louvre last week. One suspect was detained as he tried to board a flight from Paris to Algeria. Chris Marinello is the CEO of Art Recovery International, which specialises in recovering stolen works of art.
There's really no chance that they would have been able to sell these over the last week intact, given the amount of press coverage. But broken up, they would have been able to sell the diamonds, recut the sapphires, and move them on if they had a plan in place.
The Liberal Democrats may try to force a debate in the Commons about Prince Andrew's links to the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The senior Lib Dem MP Layla Moran says he should be compelled under oath to answer questions in Parliament. Prince Andrew has always denied doing anything wrong. And Hurricane Melissa is expected to strengthen to a Category 5 storm as it approaches Jamaica. Forecasters say it could become the strongest hurricane to hit the island since 1988.
Welcome to the Wayne Rooney Show.
It's your big birthday. This is a slightly special episode because we do want to celebrate your 40 years so far.
Talking about boxing for my wedding with Joe Calzaghe.
Yeah. You don't. You know what's good, that's it.
He offers Joe Calzaghe out. He goes, all right, Joe, good to have you. Joe's just sort of stood there, easing. To the ribs.
I seen him, he was a bit vulnerable, he'd had a few drinks. I might give him his first defeat. The Wayne Rooney Show. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sports with Steve Crossman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Half times then in the Premier League. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Second half commentary to come here on 5 Live. On 5 Sports Extra, Aston Villa lead Manchester City by 1-0. Bournemouth going second in the Premier League as it stands, a 2-0 up against Nottingham Forest. You'll get the second half of that on Sports Extra 2, and it'll be Sports Extra 3 after a brilliant first half at Molineux. Wolves were 2-0 down at the break. It is Wolves 2, Burnley 2. Already today, Hearts have gone 8 points clear of Celtic at the top of the Scottish Premiership. They beat the reigning champions 3-1 at Tynecastle. Here's Hearts boss Derek McInnes.
It's great to see the noise at the end and the way the supporters celebrated that. I thought we started the game brilliantly. The first 10 minutes or so, I thought we were really confident, really assured we will work, kept arriving time and time again, deliveries into the box, and we deservedly went in front. We then lose we knock off really, and Celtic reaction was we expect for them. There was an immediate reaction, but I think even from our point of togetherness, the team was clear, but we've got some really good technical players here to go with that, you know what I mean? And you've seen that with Kizzaridis' goal and Shanklin's penalty again, 2 strikers combining and Lawrence tucks it away. 3-1 victory. I thought it was deserved. The belief and the confidence the players should take from that is good from my point of view. Not if we ever needed it, I think we're trusting each other how we work. But it is only 3 points. It's important that we try and just concentrate on the next game, which is St Mirren on Wednesday, which is difficult enough anytime you go to Paisley. So we've got a job in our hands on Wednesday, and hopefully we can apply ourselves in similar fashion. We get a good outcome.
Derek McInnes speaking to Gavin Wallace. The Danny Rule Ibrox era is about to get underway. His first game in charge at that stadium, his first in the Scottish Premiership, 1 win all season. They face Kilmarnock. Kenny Crawford.
Yeah, Rangers fans' first real chance to run the Rule over new head coach Danny Rule. It's the German's first home game and first league game in charge, as you say, Steve. 8th place Rangers, 16 points behind leaders Hearts and 8 points behind Celtic. The home crowd demand evidence of improvement, although Role does stress that he's only had 1 training session since that defeat to Brann just after he'd been appointed. 4 changes to the starting 11 who lost to the Norwegians in the Europa League. Cornelius, Diomandi, Danilo and Majowski come in. As for 7th placed Kelly, Captain Brad Lyons returns in midfield and Jamie Brandon plays right wing back for Stuart Kettlewell's men. Kick off in a couple of minutes.
And 1 live score in the Scottish Premiership. Aberdeen 0, Hibs 0. Aberdeen second bottom of the table. Hibs are 5th at 4:30. Live commentary on Premier League Sunday. I have Everton against Tottenham. Spurs will go back into the top 4 with a win. Everton unbeaten at their new home. And it's a big day for Everton's new stadium as they welcome for the first time correspondent John Murray.
Yes, I'm not sure whether that should be getting top billing, but the fact is that I am here for the first time and I'm very much enjoying what I'm seeing.
Thoughts then?
Yeah, I tell you, outside the stadium, kind of inside, it's more or less what I was expecting because I've heard so much and seen so much about it. It's more the outside, really, and I have to confess, I am a bit of a stadium anorak, and I did follow the social media site that was the building of the stadium, so I've sort of seen how it's developed, but to come and see what they've done here, and the thing that you don't quite pick up from that is that it really does feel like there is a connection between this football club and the city it's in now. When you go to Goodison Park and when you go to Anfield, great experiences, but you don't necessarily feel that you experience the city. But here, when you walk around, the fact that it is an historic dock site, you are right next to the Mersey, and I always love a waterside stadium. But also, from standing outside the stadium, and all the various touches that they've done are very, very impressive. And you can see the Liber building from the concourse right outside the stadium. So yeah, a lot of boxes have been ticked for me outside the ground.
There is another... Sorry, go on, John.
I was just going to say, so let's see what happens inside.
Yeah, well, what I was going to say is there's another box to tick which comes down to atmosphere and intimidation and all that kind of thing. And it feels particularly pertinent because Tottenham are the away side and there's been a lot of discussion about their stadium being too comfortable to be in. Yeah,
and on the other side of that particular coin, Tottenham have got the best away record in the Premier League so far this season, so they come here with that. But at Everton, won here. The last home match that they played against Crystal Palace, Jack Grealish scored the late goal. Of course, he couldn't play last time they were in action against his parent club, Manchester City. So Grealish comes back, having not been able to play and having scored that goal here. And David Moyes actually references in the programme how Oliver Glasner said to him after the match that he was struck by the atmosphere inside this stadium when Everton scored that late goal. So clearly they are building something inside the ground as well.
Yeah, one very nice bit of trivia that I was told ahead of the first game there, which I was lucky enough to go to by our good friend Leon Osman, which says a lot about what they're trying to do with the stadium. So the legal limit for the steepness of a football stadium is 35 degrees exactly, 35.0. Do you want to have a guess what the Everton steepness is, John?
34.9.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there we are. Yeah.
But it does work, doesn't it? I mean, you can. I mean, it's a heck of a climb as well.
It is a climb, although on a par with other climbs. Mm-hmm. But you do feel close, and it is where we are sitting here. I'm looking down and across just to the left of the halfway line, and it does feel as though you are not in the gods like you feel in certain other stadiums. So that's good. And we're virtually, up near the very back of the stand where I'm sitting here.
And there's lots of interesting team news things that we'll pick out when we get it. But, Richarlison will give it a bit of edge, I'm sure. No Romero for Tottenham. We know that, don't we?
Yeah, that's right. They've got quite a lengthy injury list, actually, at the moment, Tottenham. Kulusevski, of course, is a big miss this season, not being able to play. Whereas, as I say, Grealish is going to be back for Everton, and we'll just have to see what Thomas Frank does in terms of changing things around after their trip to Monte Carlo in the week.
Thank you very much, John. That's correspondent John Murray, who will have Sue Smith alongside him for full commentary of Everton-Tottenham, 4:30 here on 5 Live. Another quick reminder then for where you need to go now if you want one of the other Premier League games. Remember, if you stay with us here on 5 Live, you will get all of the live updates with the goals and the big chances as they happen. But if you just want to listen to Villa Man City, 5 Sports Extra, Bournemouth Forest Sports Extra 2, Wolves Burnley Sports Extra 3. Our focus is on the Emirates. Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Joby McAnuff and John Akers.
Thank you, Steve. A change for Arsenal at half-time, leading by a goal to 0, but a problem potentially for William Saliba, who's gone off at half-time, replaced by Christian Mosquera, as Palace get us underway for the second half and knock it back to Dean Henderson, kicking from left to right as we look at it towards the clock end, the south stand, and Mateta wrestling with Calafiori, and it rolls out for an Arsenal throw on the left-hand side. Joby McAnuff, must be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, all the sort of speculation was around Gabriel, wasn't it, before the game, and whether he'd be fit. He obviously came through it, and I've got to say, Mateta's given Saliba a real tough first 45 minutes, really physical, probably won the duels at times, really, but I've got to say I've been really impressed by Mosquera and what I've seen of him so far. I think that is one of the big differences with Arsenal this season, that the next one in line almost, the deputies, I think that level has gone up, and they certainly have coped with the absence of one or two of those at times this season a lot better than they have done in previous years. So fully expect him to just come in and slot in.
Whoops, missed kick, left-footed by Gabriel on a clearance, but he got another go at it with company from Mateta and managed to clear away. So Mosquera into the centre of Arsenal's defence, and Joby McAnuff making the point that this season they are stronger in that second string, if you like. As the ball's out for a throw-in to Arsenal, left-hand side near the halfway line, right in front of Oliver Glasner. Oliver Glasner with his partial Arsene Wenger coat on, just down above his knee, clapping his hand.
So welcome back to Villa Park. You're with BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. 4, Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0. A really enjoyable first half. We anticipated a good game. We've had a good game. Villa leading it through Matty Cash's goal. What will the second half have in store? Both sides making their slow progress out from the tunnel. And as always at Villa Park, you get a sense of the number of people involved in football these days, because the stream of people that are walking out of the tunnel and heading down the touchline to sit on the dugouts. There are sports scientists and masseuses and physios. There are media personnel, Clinton never ceases to amaze me, the number of people that come out of the tunnel and sit somewhere. It doesn't seem there's enough space for them.
Yeah, it's crazy. Nowadays there's so much staff that they have to have at games. I always say too much staff, but what do I know?
Well, I think back in your day there might have been maybe 3 people on the dugout. Goalkeeping coach, assistant manager.
Exactly.
That's it. We're back underway. Clinton Morrison, former Republic of Ireland striker, with us on 5 Sports Extra. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. We are 20 seconds into the second half, and it is Villa with John McGinn in control of the ball. He's fouled by Gvardiol. That'll be a free kick to Villa inside the centre of the Villa half, and again he's looking at the referee to say, it's not the first time that Gvardiol has shoved me to the ground. Claret and blue shirts, white shorts, light blue socks, Villa, kicking from left to right. So as they like to do in the second half of games, they are attacking the Holt end here at Villa Park on a gloomy afternoon. Rain is still softly falling, not with any great intensity, but definitely zippy out there. City in their strip of grey with green. Grey predominantly, but there's flashes of green down the sides, and the socks all green. There's a green slash down the shorts. Stones is dispossessed by Sancho. Referee waves an advantage that Savinho looks to take advantage of. Left hand side of the penalty area. Silva was in the heart of the box. It was fizzed at him with such pace that he found it difficult to control. Watkins is prone right in the middle of the Villa half, but Manchester City have no obligation to stop the game here, and they're not. It's not a head injury. Watkins very slow to pick himself up, and City aren't too sure what to do with it here, because they're not attacking with any great pace. Watkins on his feet now, berating the referee, but play continues. Reinders, centrally positioned, right-hand side. City going from right to left. It's with Bob, challenged by Digne, and it's a throw to City rather, and Watkins is continuing his dialogue with Michael Oliver.
Yeah, make Man City right though, because he's alright. There's nothing wrong with him. So yeah, I wouldn't be kicking the ball out unless it's a head injury.
Yeah, it came when Watkins is kicked by Stones. Here comes Foden, left foot shot, blocked by Konsa, out for a corner. And maybe the Pep Guardiola rocket was delivered at half-time, because City have started this second half well.
Yeah, they started like they started the first half, to be fair. So when you're on top, you have to score, and this will be City's time.
I'll run you through the 2-11s when there is the first break in play. No changes at half-time. Foden delivers the corner. Diaz rises. It came off a Villa head last and will go out of play for another Manchester City corner. This in front of the North Stand. Villa and Villa Park, one of the more traditional grounds in the Premier League, a real old cathedral of football. It's seen many a historic night here in Aston Villa's history. This will be a good result if they can hang on to this as well. Corner, deep, headed away by Rodgers. Referee sees a push, and that will be a Manchester City, Aston Villa free kick inside their own penalty area.
Yeah, you don't really see Man City winning a lot from set pieces, probably apart from Haaland. So, and Villa are a big threat and a big team. So you might have to be clever on the set pieces like Aston Villa were to Man City.
Yeah, they're not renowned for their set piece goals, or at least not renowned for their headed set piece goals at Manchester City. So Martinez over this free kick for Aston Villa. Cash, Konsa, Torres and Digne the back four. Cash has the ball now, the goal scorer in the first half. Plays an oily ball forward. Rodgers takes it nicely. Watkins was making the diagonal run. Well blocked. Rodgers reloads. Finds Sancho. At least that was the plan, but Nunez in the way. Reinders now has space in the heart of the midfield. Unai Emery right in front of us. Didn't like that. Reinders accelerating towards the edge of the box. Right foot shot weak. Didn't really get hold of it, and the jeers and whistles will tell you that went 4 or 5 yards wide.
Yeah, he always looked like he was running out of time, and he maybe should have picked his head up and played it to Savinho or Haaland, but the flick from Foden to set him free, Reinders, was fantastic.
To continue that Villa side, Kamara and Onana in midfield. McGinn, Rodgers, Buendia, who started the game, is now off, so Sancho is on, and Watkins the sole striker. Donnarumma in goal for Manchester City. Nunez, Diaz, Stones, Gvardiol. Reinders in front of those four. Then Bob, Foden, Bernardo Silva, Savinho and Haaland. Plenty of firepower on the Manchester City bench. Bernardo Silva runs into the Villa half. Finds Savinho on this near side, the left now. First real glimpse of Savinho in front of us. He spent the majority of the second half on that far side, the Manchester City left. as they went from left to right. Now they're going from right to left, and he's on this near side as we watch. Gvardiol backwards of square. Nunez keeps the move, progressing to that far side, the right. Not with any great pace, this Manchester City attack, and we know that Pep Guardiola's side are renowned for this sort of build-up, and then suddenly they're in your penalty area. Ball deep, Haaland the target. Easy for Martinez. Clinton Morrison, who will take those 10 times out of 10.
You have to give Haaland something to go on, and that's poor from Nunez. He just floats it into the box, and Martinez, you want your goalkeeper to come, and he does come. So it was really good goalkeeping, but a poor ball in from Nunez.
Earlier in the Scottish Premiership, Hearts beat Celtic 3-1 to open up an 8-point lead at the top of the table. Could be a remarkable story brewing in Scotland if they can keep that going. 40-odd years since anyone bar Rangers or Celtic won the Scottish Premiership. That was Aberdeen back in 1985, but Hearts won 3-1, and there are a couple of other Scottish Premiership games taking place this afternoon. Aberdeen Hibernian lead that by 1-0, and Rangers Kilmarnock is 0-0. We'll keep you in touch with both of those, and in the Premier League, the other 3 games to kick off at 2 have resumed in the second half. Bournemouth 2 up against Nottingham Forest, that's on Sports Extra 2. Wolves 2, Burnley 2, sounded a cracker at Molineux. That's on Sports Extra 3 via the BBC Sounds app, and over on 5 Live, Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. Villa making progress, far side the left, Sancho into the penalty area, challenged by Foden. Sancho wins it back for Villa. Cash on that far side, deflected cross, Villa corner, and we know that carries real danger for Manchester City.
Yeah, definitely, and for any other team really, because the set piece coach does ever so well, and Villa's set pieces are usually really good.
Cash is getting a round of applause as he trots to that far side, the left, where the Holt end and the Doug Ellis stand would meet if they combined. And Cash has one right arm in the air, plenty of height in the City penalty area for Villa. Torres is there, Onana's there, Konsa too. Cash delivers, McGinn arrives, left foot volley brilliantly blocked. I think it was Ruben Dias in the way. That was a wonderful piece of defending, because that was arrowing in for 2-0 Villa.
Yeah, was it Diaz or was it Haaland? Because you could be right, but Haaland's stretching, so it might have been Diaz. But whoever made the block, it was outstanding. It's a great strike from John McGinn. Well worked again. Like they do work them ever so well, and it's somehow he becomes free. And great defending. It
was. Haaland is nursing some form of knock, because he's stretching his arms out as if to suggest he's had a knock to his ribs or his chest or the left side maybe, so he's not moving particularly well. I think he'll be okay. He's jogging towards his centre forward position, and City build. We've not seen a replay of that McGinn opportunity. It was another really well worked Villa set piece. Manchester City moving it towards the edge of the box. Bernardo Silva couldn't quite get on the end of a ball from Reinders. Out with it comes Kamara, and now Watkins, who is bumped by Reinders, fouled by Reinders, and that was all a little bit needless. Reinders gets a yellow card, but Watkins' touch was heading straight out of play until Reinders bumped him. So rather than a Manchester City throw in their left-back position, it's a free kick to Aston Villa.
Yeah, I think it's harsh, to be fair. I think Watkins the touch was big. What it was clever centre forward from Watkins. He knew, and he basically waited for the tiny little contact was from Reinders. So yeah, it's a soft free kick. I don't even think it is a free kick watching it again. He's unfortunate there, Reinders.
Can only assume the yellow card was for it being one of numerous challenges like that for City. John McGinn will be happy that finally a yellow card has been given to a Manchester City player. Villa waste that free kick. For all of us eulogising over Villa's set pieces, that was a poor one. And Manchester City escape with it. Nunez with his right foot. Silva controls with his left and then comes back in field, spreads it to Diaz. And now the bearded Gvardiol. Savinho on this near side, the left, wearing a white wristband, is ignored. And instead Reinders, floppy black hair. And Gvardiol to that far side, the right. Manchester City hoping for a way back into this game. 10 minutes into the second half on 5 Sports Extra. Everton Spurs to come on 5 Live at 4:30. And here at Villa Park, Villa leading Manchester City by 1-0. A whole host of substitutes from both sides are warming up down below us. Doku is there, Ake is there, Cherki warming up too. Here is Savinho, turns away from Cash, but has to go back into his own half. Gvardiol, Diaz, and now Nunez again over halfway. Stones just in front of those three. The Villa fans getting involved. They have played such an important part for Aston Villa over the years, and they will do so again for the remainder of this game, with still the best part of 35 minutes to play. Manchester City keeping very controlled possession without doing a great deal with it. That might change now as Gvardiol saunters into a central position. Nunez with his right foot finds Bob, now a couple of yards outside the Villa box, onto his left foot, backwards of square. How often do we see this from Manchester City? Villa have every single player behind the ball. McGinn goes out to meet Gvardiol. Little step over and changes the direction of travel back from left to right. Diaz inside the centre circle. The movement again just a little bit slow in front of Diaz, and he indicates just as much, wants a little bit more. Lovely turn Foden and finds Haaland. First touch was straight into Konsa, and Villa can clear but not very successfully. Reinders, Manchester City turning the screw here, although having said that they haven't really threatened Emi Martinez at all. It's with Savinho. Now Reinders again, infield, Foden, who will be the orchestrator in chief, you fancy. Onana's in quickly, all the way back to Mateus Nunes. And this is what Manchester City, Clinton, do so well. You think you've got them, and then all of a sudden, one pass and they're in.
Yeah, definitely. And this is it. This is the pattern of the game now, I think, for the rest of the half, where it's going to be, you know, Villa have to defend and try and play on the counter-attack.
Turn from Reinders, finds Foden, dead centre of the Villa half. So many bodies colliding. Manchester City work it nicely out to that far side, the right, back in field to Diaz, base of the centre circle. One more to Gvardiol, shapes to cross, does cross, not one of his better ones. And Villa fans cheer that right out of play. Villa goal kick. They lead 1-0, 56 minutes played.
I know City are losing, but them bringing on Gonzalez and Nico Riley, listen, Pep knows better than me, but I don't know what Gonzalez is going to do in midfield. He's a sitting midfielder, and Nico O'Reilly is a left back, so it's a strange one because you'd want to get more attacking players on.
Yeah, I think if you'd said at half-time that Pep's first two changes with the score 1-0 Villa would be Nico Gonzalez and Nico O'Reilly with the likes of Marmoush and Cherki and Doku on the bench, I don't think many would take that bet.
Definitely not.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what Pep Guardiola has up his sleeve. He has a very good record against Unai Emery, and there's a pretty good reason for that. Tactically one of the very best. Unai Emery actually called Guardiola the very best tactically this week. Still regards Guardiola as the world's best coach. Here's Gvardiol stepping out of defence, finds Savinho, left-hand side of the penalty area. Cross blocked by Konsa. A sliding Konsa out for a Manchester City corner.
Good defending. He gives it away, Konsa, but City look like Guardiola pushing forward. That might be his last bit of action, unless he goes to a centre-back, because Nico Riley's been playing left full-back, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. Rangers lead against Kilmarnock at Ibrox. Rangers 1, Kilmarnock 0. Danny Röhl now in charge of Rangers, his first Scottish Premiership game in charge. The two Manchester City defenders wait. Foden is over this corner, delivers from the near side. Onana looked like he was having his shirt pulled, did really well with a diving header to clear. Manchester City can reload, and it's with Nunez to Savinho, who may well be coming off. We'll see. Here's Foden on this near side, the left. Savinho's very close to him, and he gets it now. Foden continues his run into the box. Savinho continues on his own way, away from Cash, and that is out for another corner. And will these changes be made now? In fact, there's a triple change coming, because Jeremy Doku is also getting ready. So now I would suggest that Savinho's game is probably over, but again, we won't be seeing these changes before this corner is taken. So O'Reilly, Gonzalez and Doku all wait. I wonder if Pep Guardiola will persist with these changes if Manchester City get an equaliser here. Foden in front of the north stand, left hand side, delivers, good delivery too. Diaz climbs and didn't really get any purchase on the header from a very good position. Ball into the back post, Cash heads back into danger. Savinho drives, Onana in the way, Savinho again. Pau Torres in the way, and deflects it over his own crossbar. That could so easily have gone into the roof of the net. Villa survive and they remain 1-0 up.
Yeah, they're checking as well. I think they want a handball, to be fair, and Michael Oliver's saying slow it down, but it's brilliant defending from Pau Torres. They're fantastic. Savinho connects with the ball ever so well twice. I think they're looking, there is their handball against Ezri Konsa.
Yeah, the ball was fired back in, left foot We're looking at a replay of the Torres clearance. And he celebrates like he just scored. Pau Torres gets a high five from Emi Martinez. Still.
Nah, check's over.
Yeah. More the shoulder, I think, in the chest.
Yeah, of course.
Still the 3 changes wait. Still Manchester City have the pressure on. Foden again over this corner. Again on this left-hand side. Again into the deep penalty area. And Gvardiol heads over. And Villa survive 5 minutes or so of intense pressure. And now we can see these 3 changes. John Stones is the first one off. As always, John Stones seemed to be in a constant battle with fitness. So you just wonder whether an hour was his limit. So John Stones is coming off and Nico Gonzalez is coming on. Also coming on Nico O'Reilly for Oscar Bob. So Bob and Stones replaced by Gonzalez and O'Reilly, and Bernardo Silva is the other player to come off for Jeremy Doku. So Savinho does survive. So Doku, Gonzalez, O'Reilly are all on. Stones, Bob and Bernardo Silva come off. Clinton Morrison, what does that mean for City?
Yeah, I think Guardiola will go to centre-half with Diaz, and obviously Nico O'Reilly will go to left full-back, and then Doku's just going to the left and Gonzalez will just sit. So it's their formation that they usually play, with 1 holding midfielder instead of 2.
Some more problems for Villa to think about, but they still lead this game, the home side, with 61 minutes played at Villa Park by a 1-0, and this would unquestionably be Villa's best result of the season. Rodgers over the top, away from O'Reilly. Rodgers into the penalty area. Watkins arriving at pace at the front post. Really well defended by Josko Gvardiol, I think, who made the clearing header. It's out of play
Diaz.
For a Villa corner.
I think it might be Diaz who's down. I think it might be.
I think you're right.
He's the one who's closest to Watkins, and I think there's a collision. He defends it ever so well. But it's good play from Rodgers again. He spins in ahead of O'Reilly, and it's a brave header from Diaz. I think he's going to be all right, though. Yeah,
it's his landing, I think, that has caused Ruben Diaz the issue, and he's on his feet and will be fine. Villa corner, though, which will be eventually taken on this near side, the right, by Digne, who is taking his time collecting the ball in front of the Holt end, who rise to applaud him. Not quite in that stage of the game where Villa will be wasting time, but they'll certainly be, I'm sure, told by Unai Emery to take the sting out of the game whenever they have the opportunity. Now's a good time, given Manchester City have started the second half well on BBC Radio 5 Sports Extra. 1-0 Villa. Digne's corner into the heart of the penalty area. Haaland heads away. Camara 35 yards out, elected not to shoot, instead finds McGinn. Back to Camara, all this closer to the halfway line than the penalty area. Cash goes long. Digne will control nicely, but he had to get that so right to even have a chance of firing in the cross. His control actually was good, but it allowed Nunes to step in. Doku now to O'Reilly, who seems to have replaced John Stones in that centre midfield role. We know he's a versatile player, O'Reilly. Tall young man, finds Doku, the speedy Doku with the ponytail bobbing as he accelerates towards Cash on the edge of the penalty area. Left foot, great ball. O'Reilly can't sort his feet out quickly enough, and Rodgers dispossesses him. Didn't really know what to do with that, did Nico O'Reilly, and Nico Gonzalez clearly pushes John McGinn.
I for the life of me don't know why Gonzalez comes on the pitch. He's slow in that midfield. Listen, I don't like to be critical of players, but I don't know what he's ever brought to Man City. I know he was a thing they had to sign because Rodri was injured, but I'd have Kovacic over him any day of the week.
Yeah, Mateo Kovacic has not featured a great deal for Manchester City this season. Just the one appearance in the Premier League for Mateo Kovacic. Rodri out injured. It's Nico Gonzalez, who has played the majority of Premier League games for Manchester City this season. He's on, and he got a yellow card for that challenge on McGinn. Not necessarily for the force of it, but more for stopping a dangerous attack. Villa didn't really do much with it, and it's Manchester City back in possession. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. 64 minutes played at a chilly Villa Park. But Manchester City look more threatening in this second half. Savinho has gone out to that far side of the right, with Doku now on the field, and he's operating on this left-hand side, not too far away from us as we watch from a low vantage point in the Trinity Road stand. Hushed atmosphere again, as Villa perhaps sense, the fans at any rate, that City are having a decent spell here. Doku. Early ball, O'Reilly looked offside. Clinton's put his imaginary flag up, but the play continues as we know it often does, and Cash will clear. Flag stays down, so it must have been borderline, although Villa do have possession, so no need for the flag to go up now. And McGinn, with excellent hold-up play, now needs an outlet, fires it against Doku. Aston Villa have a throw.
Yeah, it's been a good battle, McGinn and Guardiola. I think McGinn's slightly on top at the minute, but yeah, he's brilliant. He leads by example, John McGinn. He's a captain of the football club, and I do like him. I think he's a very good player.
Yeah, he has been, like so many on the pitch for Unai Emery, such a key cog. He's created more chances than anyone else in the Villa shirt this season, has John McGinn. He's cropped up with a couple of good goals across the various competitions too. Torres, what a fine ball that is. Oh, just behind Ollie Watkins. He turns and puts his thumb up. That was a fine Pau Torres ball, just behind Watkins. Skips out of play for a Manchester City throw.
Yeah, he's a ball player in centre half, Torres. Maybe sometimes can get done one-on-one, but how Villa want to play, I think he's pivotal to them starting attacks from the back.
The voice of former Premier League striker Clinton Morrison with us on 5 Sports Extra. Goal scorer on this ground, which I'm sure you're very quick to remind your Villa pals.
Yes, I am, because it was for the other half.
It was.
City, and so it's even sweeter and better.
Yes. During a very decent spell for the blue half when you operated.
Yeah, definitely. We always beat Villa. They know it.
Yeah, maybe not in recent times.
No.
But certainly in that mid-2000s. O'Reilly to Doku, level with the edge of the penalty area, running at Cash. Early ball in, Haaland lurking behind Pau Torres. Good clearance from Torres. McGinn with a stunning touch to manoeuvre the ball away from trouble. Just about kept in, but...
yeah.
Guardiola was there.
It's outrageous, Chris, you're right. It's outrageous from McGinn, and he still got to the ball.
Yeah.
Brilliant touch.
But Manchester City are monopolising possession, and they have 25 minutes to find an equaliser. Their fans have been relatively quiet. They're opposite us in the corner of the Doug Ellis stand. That's a loose pass from Gonzalez, but stepping out of defence was Mateus Nunes. And you could just hear the groans from Villa fans because they're just a little bit slower to the ball of Villa. Doku drives it low, deflected off Cash. Martinez made sure. Manchester City have another corner, and they're just ratcheting up the corner count. And will they make one of these count? No changes bar the Buendia change in the first half of Villa, but they are warming up Ross Barkley. A couple of others are down there as well. Evan Guessond is there. Donyell Marlon is there. Foden over this latest corner. They've all come from this near side, the left, so out swingers from Foden. It's another good one. It's loose inside the box. Rodgers calmly, coolly steps away from it, and Sancho is the out ball here. Back to Rodgers again, isolated for now. He heads towards the corner flag. The overlapping Sancho arrives. Camara is square, and it goes to Camara, who just slows it down. I think Villa fans were hoping for a little bit more energy and tempo with that counter-attack, but sensibly Cash plays it backwards of square, and Boubacar Kamara can start things once again for Aston Villa. Unai Emery waits, has a little glance over his shoulder to see who can I bring on.
I think Guessond and Barkley are getting ready, but will it be Sancho who comes off?
Well,
because you're looking at it, obviously he's come on, and you see some managers do that. I don't like it, but it's a hard one, isn't it? It's a difficult one, because McGinn's been really good on the right-hand side.
Yeah, you're right, because Buendia has often been the first change for Unai Emery.
Yep.
Kamara spreads it well. Nunez gets a crucial touch before Sancho could burst into the box, but Sancho does well to win it back and plays it against the goalkeeper. He had 2 bites of the cherry, and Donnarumma saved it twice at the front post.
Maybe not then. Because if you put that in, he would definitely not coming up again.
No, maybe he saw. Maybe he saw the subs warming up. That was an excellent piece of play from Sancho away from Nunez. Oh, it's a good chance, at the front post. Donnarumma made a good save.
Yeah, it's good play from Sanchez. He just manoeuvres the ball ever so well on the byline and does well. It's the second one that's a good chance, but it's a brilliant save from Donnarumma.
There are still moments in this game for Aston Villa. They lead 1-0. They've been up against it in terms of possession for the majority of the second half, but they still have moments in them. Still no change in the scores in the other games in the Premier League. Arsenal 1, Palace 0, Bournemouth 2, Forest 0, Wolves 2, Burnley 2. All of those games available via the BBC Sounds app. Everton Spurs to come at 4:30. And I notice on the video printer that Real Madrid lead Barcelona.
Oh,
Kylian Mbappe, the El Clasico.
Yeah.
12 minutes in at the Bernabeu, and Kylian Mbappe has scored. Real Madrid 1, Barcelona 0. 20 minutes to play at Villa Park on 5 Sports Extra. Gvardiol across to Doku. Not really utilised him too much since his arrival Manchester City, and he's challenged well by Cash. Doku wanted too much time on the ball. Doku recovers, wins it by the corner flag. The whole ball hasn't crossed the line, and here's Gvardiol, square to Foden, back to Gonzalez. Diagonal ball to Doku. City toying with Villa, waiting for the perfect moment to pounce. Low ball into Foden, who's running out of room, gets to the front post, dink to the back post. Haaland's header straight at Martinez. Had to generate his own power, but couldn't direct it goalwards.
Yeah, it's a difficult header. He's fighting with Pau Torres. He gets the space he wants, and that's the first cross that's been put in, and it's difficult to generate that much pace and power to beat Martinez.
Well, that Mbappe goal has been disallowed by VAR, so it's as you were, 0-0. Doku for Manchester City, racing towards the edge of the box. Gonzalez is square, dinked towards Reinders, who'd made the run into the penalty area. Villa are so deep at the moment. Watkins is the furthest player forward, and he's only 10-15 yards outside of his own penalty area. Can Villa keep this up for another 20 minutes or so? Gvardiol to Doku, wearing the grey base layer to match the grey shirt. Back in field to Gonzalez. Square it goes to Reinders. And now Nunez picks it up. Manchester City slowing this right down. They are taking their time, waiting for the moment to get into the penalty area. The ball on that far side, the left. It's with Nunez to Foden. So many touches for Manchester City in this midfield. Gonzalez has space to turn, and he shoots right-footed with no great accuracy. Didn't really beat the wall of Villa players lining the edge of the penalty area, but Villa just cannot escape. You can hear what the crowd think of that. Foden looking for an angle to find Doku, and does so. Good ball. Doku's touch not as controlled as it needed to be, but he gets it back. He's into the box, running at Cash. Good defending, Matty Cash. He's deflected on the cross, made the Martinez catch easy, and it remains Villa 1, Manchester City 0.
Yeah, he's done well, Cash, because Doku's a handful, and he wants to show him inside. When he goes on the outside, he defends it ever so well.
What can Aston Villa do with this latest attack? They are keeping hold of the ball inside their own penalty area. Onana's fouled by Reinders. He's a very cool customer, isn't he, Amadou Onana? He does nothing with any great speed, but he does it with such accuracy.
Yeah, he does. He does it ever so well.
Here come the changes, and it is John McGinn who has once again put in a real shift.
It is who I said. It is.
But you're right as well.
Yeah, I told you it would be. I told you.
You did. So McGinn and Sancho are coming off. Sancho, who came on for Buendia, is now being replaced in the second half, and no player likes that. He's not looking best pleased, is Jadon Sancho, which you can understand why.
Yeah. I think he's done all right. So I'd be disappointed if I was him. The managers can clap him, but that doesn't help when you're a player. You're disappointed.
And Unai Emery is suggesting, and we're very close to Unai Emery, and the body language from Emery seemed to suggest, look, it doesn't matter. It was always going to be that position I changed.
Yeah, but Sancho didn't want to. No. He tapped him, and he was not happy about it. No player would be happy.
Evan Guessond and Ross Barkley on the field. Evan Guessond, who scored his first Aston Villa goal in the defeat to go-ahead Eagles in the Europa League on Thursday. Had a good chance for another as well, actually, when Villa were 1-0 up and dominating. May have been a different game, but he scored that one-on-one. Villa have a throw, left wing, and they lead 1-0, and we have 15 minutes to play. Manchester City are readying, is that Ryan Cherky? I can see down
Cherky.
There it is, who has had a injury blighted start to his Manchester City career, but did look lively in his opening few appearances, did Ryan Cherky. Got a goal in one of his early games. Here's Ross Barkley, turns away, finds Watkins. What a ball that is. Watkins against Donnarumma, and Donnarumma gets there somehow, because it looked like Watkins was the favourite. Fine Barkley ball, Watkins on the shoulder, Donnarumma out quickly.
Yeah, it's good goalkeeping, but it's brilliant play from Ross Barkley and Watkins. I'm thinking Watkins, he's always stretching, and once he's stretching, Donnarumma comes out and does well, but it's a brilliant pass from Ross Barkley.
Manchester City have the ball back, and they have Gonzalez on it, central position. Out it goes to Savinho, who's been quiet on that far side, the right, in this second half. Nunez in field, touch to Gonzalez on the edge of the box. It's here where it falls down for Manchester City, and the flag's up on that far side. Reinders was offside, and it is a free kick to Aston Villa just outside their penalty area.
It's just not good enough for me, Gonzalez, in them areas. He's got positions there. Listen, I'm probably comparing him to the best he played there, Rodri, but still, for me, Kovacic is a better player than him.
Tijani Reinders is the man being replaced by Ryan Cherki. So Reinders, who was operating more as in that pivot, that defensive midfield position, is coming off, and Ryan Cherki, who will absolutely not, you'd think, be playing in that position, will come on to join a front line of Doku, Foden, Savinho and Haaland. And again, I'll whisper it quietly, has not really been involved in this game bar the chance he had in the first half, but we have said that many times before. 76 minutes played. Villa, who have won the last 2 Premier League games against Manchester City, are 14 minutes plus stoppage time from making it 3 in a row, and not many do that to Pep Guardiola's Manchester City. The only time Pep Guardiola has lost 3 successive games away to a specific team was Tottenham. You might remember Tottenham having the jinx over Manchester City for a long period of time in the early 2020s. We're a long way from that at the moment still. Doku to Gvardiol, halfway line. O'Reilly, barely mentioned O'Reilly's name in this second half since he's come on. Now Doku coming in field from his left wing position. In field to Cherki, whose first touch is a little heavy, but Gonzalez keeps the move going. Oh, another eye of the needle ball looking for Foden. Cash was in the way. No nonsense clearance. Gessan's first involvement in the game is to rampage over halfway, and he plays it against Gvardiol and wins his side of throw.
Yeah, good play. I feel, no, I'm not going to say it. I feel like I'm picking on Gonzalez.
I feel like you are.
Phil Foden's saying to him, get a touch of the ball, and he's moaning at Phil Foden, do your job, keep it simple. You're just a basic footballer. I'm just watching him and everything they're trying to do and build up for him. He's the one who's giving the ball away for them. They're probably going to score now.
Yeah, we know how this works.
Exactly.
We know how this works. 12 minutes to play, 5 Sports Extra. Still no second half goals anywhere else. Arsenal still 1 up at Palace on 5 Live.
So there could be an equaliser from Palace. Come on, Mateta.
Sports Extra 2 for Bournemouth Forest. I presume that's from both a Palace perspective and an FPL perspective, is it?
Yes, yeah, it is, definitely.
I thought it might be.
Yeah.
Sports Extra 3 for Wolves 2, Burnley 2. Here on 5 Sports Extra, Villa 1, Manchester City 0. It's been all Manchester City possession-wise in the second half, but I can't remember a single Martinez save that he's had to make.
No, you're right.
He's been a passenger in this second half, just watching the play in front of him, and there's been lots of it in front of him, but no real penetration from City. Will that change now? That's better from Doku. Early ball into the box in front of O'Reilly. Haaland wasn't far off it. Onana turns it away, and was that out for a throw? It was a throw. Certainly wasn't from where Gvardiol is taking it, but no one's really bothered. O'Reilly will take this throw level with the edge of the penalty area. Foden, difficult one to control, and he's dispossessed. Oh, illegally, according to Michael Oliver. My first reaction there, Clinton, is I thought he won the ball fairly there.
Yeah, I thought he won it as well. I feel Phil Foden knows he's lost the ball, and he feels the contact and just goes down. Michael Oliver buys it.
Oh, that looked a good tackle to me. And Villa there was 3 on 1, albeit the ball was 1 deep inside the Villa half. Well, Villa scored from a corner that probably shouldn't have been a corner. Can Manchester City equalise from a free kick that probably shouldn't have been a free kick? Foden is over it. Grey base layer goes short to Matheus Nunes, and back to Foden for some reason. And now Doku on this left-hand side. That seemed a bit of a waste. Doku with a good ball into the box. It might not be. It's cleared by Villa, and Barkley can come away with it. Only Gessan in front of him, but Foden, that's a mismatch. Gessan uses his strength really well, and he's fouled by Foden. That is excellent play from Evan Guessond, because he was second favourite to win that. He bullied Foden, who probably needed to be a little bit stronger, and Foden, in his desperation to win it, brings down Guessond. He'll get a yellow card, and Villa are 50 yards up the pitch.
Yeah, I think it's a foul. I think Foden gets fouled first of all when he puts his body in. I think Michael Oliver's missed that, to be fair, but brilliant play from Guessond. That's what you want, your subs to come on and make an impact, and he's definitely made an impact there. But yeah, there's a hand on Foden's shoulder there, so for me, but then Foden's pulling him, so maybe he has got it right, Michael Oliver. Good decision.
Seeing a replay of that last ball in from Doku. It was Onana who heads it away. It's been a really committed defensive Aston Villa performance. And cashes over this free kick, feeds it down the line for Watkins to run onto, turns his header infield, and that's cleared by Gonzalez, and now Doku is fouled by Camara, and that will probably be a yellow card for him, and it will be, bringing down Doku when he was accelerating away. And Manchester City have this free kick with 10 minutes to play. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Villa, who have won the last 2 games against Manchester City at Villa Park. This would be 3 in a row, and would be 4 Premier League games won in a row. Manchester City, who had been in good form, 7 wins from their last 9. Last defeat came last day of August at Brighton. If they are to go on and lose this game, based on current statistics and based on current play, couldn't really have too many arguments. They might have dominated possession, but they certainly haven't troubled Emi Martinez anywhere near as much as they might have done.
That's what I mean. Everyone gets fascinated with stats and stats. Oh, you have more possession, but you didn't work the goalkeeper. And the aim of the game is to put the ball in the net.
Kilmarnock have an equaliser against Rangers in the Scottish Premiership. Rangers 1, Kilmarnock 1. Real Madrid now lead Barcelona 1-0, and Kylian Mbappe has now scored after that disallowed goal. So Real Madrid 1, Barcelona 0 in the Clásico. 8 minutes to play at Villa Park. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Villa plotting for City plotting forward again, slowly and so far predictably, but can that change with Doku running at Cash, who's defended him really well? O'Reilly has space inside the box, left-footed ball, back it goes, Foden, right foot shot, Onana blocks with his head rather than his arm. Foden half appealed, and the referee stops the game because Onana caught that flush in the face. And that really, Clinton, for the first time I can remember, City breaking through the Villa back line and finding space inside the box. Foden shot blocked.
Yeah, it was a good run from O'Reilly. He said we haven't seen in the second half, but it was, and a good pass from Doku. But yeah, he's always stretching Phil Foden. I think if it's on his left foot, he scores. But it's brave from Onana. He catches that flush in the face.
Yeah, and he's receiving treatment, which is no bad thing in terms of game management for Aston Villa. They have an opportunity to break up what had been good Manchester City possession. Donyell Marlon is coming onto the field, and Ian Maatsen as well, but not before Manchester City have made a change, and that change is Omar Marmoush, who has been suffering with injury, to come onto the field, and Savinho is the man to make way. So Omar Marmoush is coming on for just his 4th Premier League appearance of the season. Ended the season last season, didn't he, Marmoush, so well for Manchester City, scoring so many goals. And he's got 7 minutes or so to make a difference. Villa are readying Marlon and Maatsen, and you suspect Watkins is probably one of those coming off, and one of the fullbacks maybe.
Yeah, Digne. That change always happens. Yeah.
Must be strange as a player when you see Maatsen warming up with Digne and know, oh well, that's that. Onana on his feet, and we see a replay of the Cash goal 19 minutes in. He took it so well. Ball was just behind him, and he used that angle with his left foot to find the corner. It's a brilliant finish. The golf swing celebration by the corner flag. Onana is making his slow progress off the field, and he'll need 30 seconds or so to wait. Rangers back in front against Kilmarnock. Rangers 2, Kilmarnock 1. Unai Emery is come marching off and is barking something at Amadou Onana. Not sure what that was.
I think he's saying, are you alright?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe the physios are thinking maybe he might have to come off, but he's saying, I'm not coming off.
Yes, and when Unai Emery is in this passionate mode, anything he says looks like it's fairly angry. back underway. Cash feeds it down the inside right channel. The willing Gesson will run but won't get on the end of it. Guardiola will let that run out of play. And will Villa make this double change? No, they won't. They didn't have enough time. Onana's on the field now. And I think Unai Emery wanted that change to be made, but there was the delay for some reason and Michael Oliver wasn't waiting around. So Manchester City carry on their merry way. 5 minutes to play on 5 Sports Extra. Manchester City need a goal. Villa lead 1-0. Lovely ball to O'Reilly in the penalty area. Gesson, who's had an excellent 5-10 minutes or so since coming on, defends, and out of play it goes for a throw. Someone has said something out of turn, I think. Michael Oliver is having a word with someone, and here comes the change, and it is indeed, as Clinton called, Luca Digne coming off for Ian Martson and Ollie Watkins coming off for Donyell Marlin.
Yeah, they were the obvious changes, to be fair, that were going to be made.
And both players are warmly applauded off the field. Villa 4 minutes away from a very good win. Another win over Manchester City. Another game they've kept Haaland quiet and making progress up the Premier League table. This would put them into the top 7. Level on points with Liverpool. A point behind Manchester City. But it's not over yet. Haaland just behind Konsa. Konsa defends well. Gesson has it once again. Needs a little bit of help and then he flat arms Gonzalez out the way. Almost like a rugby number 8 palming off his opposite number. But Villa lose their way in midfield and now there's trouble. Foden takes it on the half turn brilliantly. Haaland's in front of him. Great defending. It comes to Cherki's right foot shot. Deflected easy for Martinez.
Wow. Brilliant, it's brilliant. The tackle from Konsa is outstanding. He reads what Foden, because Haaland's movement's brilliant. And then you're thinking Cherki's going to score, and it's a great block. But that's because Villa have the ball and they get counter-attacked on, and I don't think Unai Emery wants the game to be open like that.
No. From a Villa perspective, there was far too much space for Foden to collect and turn. Cash has done the same again. He's given it straight to Mateus Nunes. A couple of tired passes now in the Villa ranks. Nunes has it, base of the centre circle, inside the Manchester City half. 3 minutes to play, plus stoppage time. But again, similar to the first half, that there's been a smattering of changes. We haven't seen a goal, and we haven't seen any lengthy injury stoppages either. And the Villa Park faithful in very good voice as they try and roar their side to an excellent 3 points and a 4th straight Premier League win. Gvardiol orchestrating events. Doku on this near side, the left. Gesson in the way. Doku away from Gesson onto his left foot into the front post, headed away by Konsa. Nunes will pick it up on the right hand side. He crosses. Haaland meets it. Konsa's there again. What a good game Ezri Konsa has had against Haaland, but that's sloppy from Camara. Wanted too much time. Nico Gonzalez square. Cherki, there's no one to his right. That's where he was hoping to go, and in the end all the way back to Diaz and back to Nunes. Thought about lumping it long into the penalty area. We're not quite at that stage yet for City. We've got 2 minutes of normal time to play. Doku, little bit of a loose first touch, but retrieves the ball. Cash ignores him, uses Gesson. O'Reilly's flick.
It's not your game, mate.
Keep the ball needed.
Yeah, you got. I don't mind O'Reilly, but that's not his game, doing flicks. You just stay on the ball and then you get a runner off you. They're defending well though, Aston Villa, I must say. They are defending really well.
They are defending extremely well, and the clean sheet is within sight. 90 seconds of normal time to play. Villa 1, Manchester City 0. Nico Gonzalez is bloodied. He's got a bloody nose, but Michael Oliver happy for the game to continue. It's not streaming out of his nose, so no blood on the shirt. Manchester City have it on the right-hand side. Marmoush spins away from Martin. Low ball in, Haaland scores!
Oh, wow.
Offside. The flag is up. Haaland collides with the post. And that looked a really nasty collision with the post. Haaland put it in, but the initial pass to Marmoush had the Egyptian offside. We'll, of course, see the replay, but Haaland might be in a bit of bother here.
Yeah, it looks a sore one. You remember when Ollie Watkins collided it with the post on international duty? It is a sore one. You hope that he's all right. We ain't seeing the replay for the offside, but it is offside.
Yeah. That's not taken too long. Marmoush is offside.
Yeah,
it's
he goes
close.
early. Yeah, he was
left
close.
shoulder is offside. It's the first real time that they managed to play a ball in towards Haaland in that area. He did really well to stretch and finish. It hits the post, hits Haaland and goes back in, but Haaland clatters with the post, and he looks okay, fortunately, because you're right, we've seen a few of those, haven't we? And we've seen, and his name escapes me, Taiwo Wanyi was the man I remember, the Forest striker.
Yes, he was out
he needed
for a
surgery,
bit.
didn't he?
Needed surgery. Yeah. You just hope Haaland's all right. He's limping at the moment, but I think he'll be fine.
I think he will be okay. Still 1-0 Villa. They survived that skirmish. 6 added minutes. And we're into those 6 minutes now. Villa still have this 1-goal lead. Gonzalez is off the field, presumably because he had a bloodied nose. And he is urging the referee to allow him back on, and now he is back on, and Villa have a free kick for a foul on camera. And Villa just have to see out these final 5 minutes of stoppage time, and they'll be up to 7th in the table. It'll be a 4th Premier League win in a row. It'll be another game unbeaten at Villa Park. That's a lovely ball over the top. Barkley, always second favourite against Donnarumma, who was on the edge of his own penalty area. And it'll be another win over Manchester City at Villa Park. Another win for Unai Emery over Pep Guardiola. Gonzalez gives the ball away, and he had options there, Gonzalez, and held on for it for too long. Marlon wins Aston Villa a throw.
Yeah,
I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, but it's good play from Marlon to get your side up the field here. Is very good play.
Cash collects a ball from an orange cone. He's got Concert in his own half, but wants to go forward, which is a good decision. Marlon, chest control, swivels away from O'Reilly and heads to destination corner flag, and then rather strangely plays it across goal. I think he was looking for the deflection off O'Reilly, who was wise enough to jump out of the way, and Donnarumma has it. And we have played 1 minute 40 seconds of the 6 added on. City coming forward. Diaz floats it down the line. It's one for Marmoush to chase, or rather Nunez to chase. Will he keep this in play? No. Looked like he was going to get there, but then couldn't wrap his right foot around it, and that's out of play for an Aston Villa goal kick, and Emi Martinez will not be rushing this.
Yeah, he looked like he just ran out. It was good tracking back from Morgan Rogers. He's had another good game. He does look like he's got his appetite back for sure, but yeah, this is City now. We've been saying City have been really, really good this season, but it's been a flat performance from them this season. This game. Sorry.
Yeah. They're in action midweek. Manchester City in the Cup against Swansea, and a home game against Bournemouth before welcoming Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League. It'll be an emotional night for Erling Haaland, the former Borussia Dortmund striker, and then a home game against Liverpool before the international break, which could be set up very, very interestingly if Liverpool continue on their poor trajectory. Foden wins it well, left-hand side of the penalty area, delivers towards Haaland, drops to Gonzalez, blocked by Barkley and blocked well. Here is O'Reilly, Nunez on the right-hand side, left foot drive over the bar, and always over the bar. It would take something very special from there, and it was never on target.
I say players that do not know, that understand their strengths. Their strengths get crosses into the box for Haaland. He comes onto his left foot. It's going to be something spectacular to beat Martinez from there. He has to do better, Nunez.
Listen to Villa Park. Unai Emery's Barmy Army being chanted. He celebrated his first game in charge with a very good win over Manchester United at Villa Park. And he could be celebrating his 3-year anniversary with a very good win over Manchester City at Villa Park. But there is still 2 and a bit minutes to play. Here is Nunez, but inside his own half. Gonzalez to Cherki. And now Gvardiol is heading towards the edge of the penalty area. It's so congested. There are so many bodies. Oh, that's a strong Marlon challenge on Doku, but a good one. And that's a challenge by Cherki. He wanted the free kick because he felt Marlon carried on and followed through. And the end result is an Aston Villa throw. And they are close, Clinton.
They are close. They deserve it as well. Man City don't deserve anything out of this game. They've not been nowhere near good enough. And Villa have defended well and looked to threat. Not in the second half, but they knew they were going to get pressure, but defended excellently so far.
Finished at the Vitality Stadium, Bournemouth 2, Nottingham Forest 0. We have a minute 20 seconds to play. Aston Villa 1, Manchester City 0 on Sports Extra. We've got Everton Spurs to come at 4:30 on 5 Live. It's turning into a very good day for Arsenal, who still lead Palace by a goal to 0. But with Manchester City dropping here, Liverpool having dropped off recently, they are going 4 points clear at the top of the Premier League, with Bournemouth up to second after that win at Forest. Still playing at Molineux as well, over on Sports Extra 3, 2-2. City building. Ball in from Cherki, in towards Haaland, wins his header, but Martinez very quickly out to claim. And with 40 seconds to go, if Villa are sensible here, they're winning this game.
Yeah, they are. Martinez is not, he's going from back to front, that's for sure. He's not playing out from the back.
O'Reilly has it for Manchester City. He goes all the way back to Donnarumma. This has to go forward now for Manchester City. 20 seconds to play. The whistles around Villa Park. So close to another win over Manchester City. And they're playing it across their back line. Do they not know there's 10 seconds to play?
He's saying getting forward to Haaland, and they're still trying to play their football.
They're going to run out of time. Foden is challenged. Cherki throws into a challenge. And Michael Oliver says no, free kick. Doku emerges with it. And that is an errant pass through to Martinez. And that surely will be that. Listen to the noise. And as soon as Emi Martinez delivers downfield, you think that'll be it. Michael Oliver, whistle to his lips. Victory for Aston Villa. It's another win over Manchester City. The third in a row at Villa Park. It's a fourth Premier League win in a row. They may have started sluggishly, but the old Aston Villa look back. They're into the Premier League's top 7. Matty Cash's goal, 90 minutes into the game, the difference. But there's no doubt they deserved it. Manchester City dominated possession in the second half, but couldn't test Emi Martinez. Haaland had a goal disallowed correctly for offside. They didn't do enough. And Pep Guardiola forlornly shakes hand with his players and the referee. Hi-ho Aston Villa rings around Villa Park. Villa 1, Manchester City 0, and that's a very good win for Aston Villa.
Yeah, and thoroughly deserved it. Everyone said Villa had a slow start, but they are flying now in the Premier League, as you just mentioned there. But they thoroughly deserved it. You're always going to come under pressure against this Man City team. But how many big saves did we see Martinez make? None at all, really. So credit to Aston Villa, fantastic performance. And coming to Villa Park's always difficult with the fans behind them, but they are playing good football at the moment.
The goal was real quality, wasn't it? Corner, Cash, right foot touch and the left foot into the corner. Set pieces are very much in vogue this season, and we saw one there for Aston Villa, and that's all it took.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing people say about set pieces and complain about them. We need the set pieces. They're not going anywhere. They're only going to stay in it for a long time because people are getting goals and teams are not working them out. So fair play to Aston Villa.
Manchester City dominated possession as we knew they would in the second half, but it was all backwards and sideways. There was very little penetration, and based on Manchester City this season, where they tended to go a little bit more direct, it was a performance that never really looked like warranting a goal.
No, it didn't. They didn't create enough for their main man Haaland. He had one chance in the first half, one in the second half, which was offside from Mamouche. But other players have to start chipping for goals. You can't. They're so reliant on Haaland, which he don't mind. He likes that. But other players need to start contributing to goals. It's not happening for City today. It has been happening, but not today.
Amadou Onana celebrating with the Villa fans in front of the whole 10. He's giving it the full Jurgen Klopp fist bumps. Flags are flying in that end as well. Manchester City players are on that far side applauding the efforts that their fans have made, and many of them have stayed to applaud. There's no shortage of effort, just a shortage of attacking quality for Manchester City. And final word for Villa, Clinton. You think now, after that start, it feels like this is much more like Aston Villa. Yes, they could have scored a couple more today when they had that spell in the first half, but they look back to being their solid best. If they can get Watkins scoring again, Rodgers more involved, you feel it could be another really good season for them.
Yeah, because they're winning football matches without Ollie Watkins really scoring any goals. He's contributing, obviously it's because he's hard working, and his link-up play was good in the first half in particular, but once he starts getting the goals, Villa, you don't know what can happen with them. Obviously they're going to climb the table. I still think they'll finish in the top 6 this season because they've got a good squad and they've got other players to come back like Tielemans. So, yeah, it's looking good times for Aston Villa.
A 95th minute winner for Burnley at Molineux.
Burnley.
Lyle Foster has scored to make it Wolves 2, Burnley 3. And that's how it's finished at Molineux. And you wonder what next for Vitor Pereira. Bournemouth 2, Forest 0 is how it's finished. And Arsenal 1, Crystal Palace 0. So Arsenal have a 4-point lead at the top of the Premier League. Clinton, appreciate your time.
Cheers, Chris.
And appreciated your company. Thoroughly enjoyed it on 5 Sports Extra. Everton Spurs on 5 Live, but now on